What's up?
Good evening.
Oh, what a freaking week. My God, we've had so much stuff come out, some good, some pretty bad. And I'm going to start out by saying Agatha All Along wasn't as bad as the Rings of Power episode 6, which was way worse. Way worse. But we're going to talk about both of them.
Like nearly every Marvel project that comes out in the first episode, when you're just looking at the themes they're presenting and you're writing your own story on how they could potentially make like a compelling show, it's like, okay, we'll see where this goes, and then it always goes down the shitter. So,
they shouldn't have released that second episode because it went down the shitter.
They should have just released one episode.
They should have just released one episode.
That's it, guys. Use your imagination.
It would have been fine. It all went downhill in episode 2 real quick.
Joe Locke has commented that by the end of the series, he'll be going head to head with like Agatha in Power. So this is going to be might be a weird switch where it's not the girl boss winning in the end.
No, well, it's because he's playing. I mean, he's Wiccan. Yeah. Folks, sorry to spoil it for you, but he's Wiccan.
They put it in the trailer again.
Okay. So it's not a big surprise. That is one of Wanda's kids aged up, and I'll tell you later in the stream how exactly it happens. It's crazy. But we have a special get. You know everybody here. Jeremy's on assignment with his happy tissues. Probably some Trump rally coming up soon.
Jeremy's decided like security is not good enough. He's just going to go wherever Trump goes and be like he's just going to stand in the way, of whatever the most dangerous.
I mean, that's going to be better than any female security person. So,
well,
Trump Liberation Army.
But hey, he does have time to make a video about me, but no time for Friday Night Tights. Az is still dead. Sorry, rest in peace. Shad's internet is kind of dead. Comics will be here later. Garrett is quarter slaving away on a video right now. So here we go. I'd like to welcome a special guest. Love his videos on the Rings of Power in particular. Our good friend. Our good friend. We're going to just be good friends. We're going to be internet friends. Jonny Law.
Hello. Greetings, each and every one of you. It's a pleasure to be here. It's a pleasure.
Thank you. I can't wait to break down all the lore accuracies of the Rings of Power Season 2, Episode 6. It was Tolkienian.
Oh, scientific.
My favorite bit is when Galadriel is screaming to Adar, "This is all Sauron's plan." But he knows it's Sauron's plan because Sauron literally told him this was his plan, and he just went and followed it.
Yes.
Yep. And it's almost like she doesn't have insight as a power.
I mean, did they forget about the scroll they found in the Númenórean library that had Sauron's plan?
Oh yeah, there's that too.
We got to go over the Elle magazine article later, if you could pull that up later, where it's like women taking charge in episode 6. Oh yeah, they do. Oh,
that's why everything's so fucked up in this world.
But
literally,
before we get started, let's take care of today's sponsor and do today's ad read. You ready?
Let's go.
It's Be Naked. And we're not talking about Catherine Hahn in Agatha All Along being ogled by a teenage girl and half the internet you would expect to completely miss the point of my tweet on that and just go, what? It's a naked person. Yeah. Being ogled by a teenage girl with a company that might have a bit of a reputation right now. No, we're not talking about that. Yeah. On Disney Plus for kids. This is Be Naked. In today's society, it's tough to be a man in a world dominated by overly masculine liberal women like Galadriel. That's just not how it's meant to be. Everywhere we look, it's gender neutrality, this product, or made for her, that product. That is why we started a company that embodies the ethos of Men's Lives Matter too, with products that aren't designed to be gender neutral or used by people with pronouns or products. Our products at Rumble are designed and built for men by men, period. And I'm going to do the joke again. Men without periods. So if you struggle with low energy, thank you, Chrissy, mood swings and hair loss, or if you need to perform better at the gym or maybe in bed with your female wife, or girlfriend, lover, and recover quicker afterwards. Birthing person. Throw out all those other garbage supplements and try animal organs. They are traditionally the most nutrient-rich supplements on the planet. But our bison organs are a step above. The grass-fed, non-vaccinated bison are their species where the weak are allowed to die and only the strongest survive. So here is our commitment to you from men who have real confidence in their products. Try this today, and if you don't like it, fine. Return it for a refund. Click the link in the bio or go to benaked.com/nerdrotic. Code Nerdrotic and get 15% off of our products and get hooked on the power of bison. Thank you, Be Naked. You know, another
rip off a lion's head and swim in a cold ocean or something.
Yeah.
I want to do.
Hey, in like maybe another 2 years, I'll be good at reading ads. But you know, progress, not perfection. That's what we say around these parts. I mean, look at our show.
Yeah, we missed the progress part, but
I remember when
and the perfection part. But
I remember when Brett was doing like a segue to a sponsor, and she was on about your body count. She was obviously who you sleep with should be private. That's why you need a VPN to protect your privacy online. This is the greatest segue I've ever heard.
Yeah, like those ones and like the Helix mattress ones, whatever. Like, you know what? I think of 700 babies being killed. It makes it really tough to get a good night's sleep. You know what helps? Helix? You know what I mean? Like, those ones are fucking crazy.
The war in Israel
This
has
is
made
Friday
it very
night, huh?
hard to sleep at night.
I love it when he's really angry about something and it's going off. And then first we go to a sponsor.
Yeah, that would be funny if like if he was still alive and Azrant interrupted by a sponsor or anything at this point. If you know,
anytime Az gets interrupted, it's funny because that's what he does.
all the time. What he
used to do. Sorry.
Oh,
R.I.P.
I miss him.
I know we
Rest
miss
in
him
peace.
too. Rest in
F's in the
piss.
chat for Az.
Yeah.
Or not.
So let's start with Agatha all along, shall we?
Okay.
Agatha All Along is a spin-off that was greenlit from a song from a spin-off that was a prequel. You follow me there? Okay, because that's what it was. WandaVision, which came out 3 years ago. Y'all remember WandaVision, don't you?
Wow.
I
3
think
years
I
ago.
vaguely remember that thing.
Yeah, it was like during COVID. We were all locked down.
I remember doing the reviews on this show and me being like kind of in the minority after the first couple episodes. I was not a big fan. I didn't like the shtick, I guess, of the fucking, oh, look, 50s, whatever.
I liked it. I did. In the beginning, I thought that was cool. Thought it was interesting. Thought it was going somewhere. I bought into the Mephisto, because the Darkhold was being insinuated at that point, and there was a lot of clues for Mephisto, which I'm guessing the crew was putting in, because the showrunner had no idea who that character was. Wouldn't it be funny if they circle back to Mephisto in the series, which they won't, by the way.
Did you read her interview about that? She said that when everyone was going on with Mephisto and stuff, it made her feel really insecure and like a personal attack because she didn't know any of this stuff, and so it felt like you were criticizing her work. And now she's just like, now I just don't care about criticism. It's way better. It was a really bizarre thing to come out with.
Yeah, well,
I always thought the Darkhold was what got Derek Chauvin in so much trouble.
Yeah. You're not wrong, Chrissy, but we're talking about the book in the Marvel comics.
We're talking about the book in the Marvel comics, and if she took it as a personal attack, it was an attack on her work. It definitely was.
It should make you feel insecure that you don't know that like there are so many people out there that have like an actual knowledge base of the thing that you're making, that like have all of this stuff that they can throw at you, and you're clueless about it. It should make you feel like shit. It should make you feel insecure as fuck that you didn't do the research required to actually be leading a project like this. So go fuck yourself.
Yeah. I mean, these are the kind of people who say, we're taking up spaces now. Well, while you're taking up spaces, why don't you do the fucking basic research on your character and the source material that you're working on, that you're getting paid a lot of money for? That'll probably be the most, the thing you will get the most notoriety for. You know, put some work into it.
That would motivate me to like learn everything I fucking could about it.
Yes.
You know, like that's how I would feel, as opposed to be like, I just don't care about anything anyone says now.
Right, especially because so many
is...
women say, like, well, we have to work twice as hard to get half the, accolades, and like you would think that would motivate them to work harder.
What the
reality
issue
is,
as you saw
you
on
work
the red
half
carpet,
as hard. You get you work half as hard to get twice as much. It seems.
Yeah, well,
Based on the
we
internet.
Yeah.
Go
As
ahead,
we saw on the red
Disparu.
carpet, they don't care about the Marvel. They don't care about the comics. They're never even going to do the work. And it's because this isn't aimed at them. This isn't an IP they're interested in. They're not interested in Marvel. They'll never be interested in Marvel. And so you would think Disney would learn from that hiring a showrunner and a cast who have never watched this stuff, just because they're not fans of it, would be that you shouldn't make a project for this demographic because they're not interested in it. So if you actually make a product for a target demographic, they shouldn't have to go and do the work. They'll be fans of it anyway, because they are the people you're advertising to in the first place.
Yeah, like TV, like streaming should be the place for serialized storytelling, like even more than movies. And think about it, from the MCU, we haven't seen Ghost Rider yet. Not the Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. one, not Ghost Driver, Ghost Rider, the real one. We haven't seen that character yet, but we're seeing a spinoff with Agatha Harkness, Franklin Richards' babysitter, who looks like Aunt May in the comic books. At least she used to. They probably retconned her into a young lesbian in the last couple of years, and I honestly don't care. But this isn't, as I said on Twitter, this isn't a show made for Marvel Comics fans. This isn't a show made for men at all. But you know what?
Well,
The concept in the beginning wasn't bad. Like they went to a police procedural. It wasn't like exciting, but it wasn't offensively bad. Dude, it wasn't like The Acolyte was offensively bad, but memeable and unintentional hilarious within 10 minutes. Like this one took a minute to get there, right? So we're just kind of wandering through a mystery that you instantly know.
20 minutes. Like you had 20 minutes, and again, if you've seen the fucking trailer, you know what's going to happen. So like you knew that this is a fucking dream or a vision or a magical spell that was cast on her that she's in. But the first 20 minutes, essentially you have Agatha, who believes that she's a detective in this town and is trying to solve this mystery of who murdered this person, and weird shit's happening. This book got burned up. This library book actually wasn't checked out. It was stolen, blah, blah, blah. And even though you know where it's headed, to me, I'm thinking to myself, this isn't great, but I like the idea of this. And I like the idea of a random, just fucking cops, whether it's small town, big town, whatever, in this world where superheroes and things like this exist, solving crimes and getting caught up in something like this, where they're not buddy-buddy with Spider-Man or not buddy-buddy with this person who's helping them out. Instead, they're just in this world and are kind of dealing with these new rules and trying to uncover a mystery in a small town.
Yep.
I would have been down for that.
Unfortunately, the mystery is something you know immediately. So you're waiting for the characters to catch up. Like, you know immediately that the body is Wanda Maximoff, which they do in the show, confirms if you watch Doctor Strange Mom, that she's dead and all copies of the Darkhold are destroyed, at least for now. So you're just waiting for her to catch up, and that's when it goes south, like immediately south.
I thought that's when it got better. Like when they were finally revealing stuff to her, because then you could actually do jokes about the character, like in the interrogation room when she's like, "Why are you in my house?" It's like, "Oh, I thought I was after a fulfilling home life, but it turns out you don't have one." Like when you're actually making jokes about the character, it was funnier rather than just essentially boring. But I think the first 20 minutes was what was the initial hook for the target demographic, because it showed through and you all went all true crimey.
Yeah,
well, true crime is the target audience. That's
absolutely,
exactly what they'd be interested in.
Absolutely. But instead of
just me, I have a question, right?
Sure.
It's just me. Was her acting during the actually her acting is horrible throughout the whole thing, but it was particularly bad during the cop thing. Was it intentional?
Yeah, it was supposed to be.
So.
That's the problem with the show. It doesn't know what it wants to be. So that was supposed to be intentionally bad, but it wasn't funny, like at all.
Well, then,
it came across as actually bad.
Yeah. Yes.
It actually came across because everyone else was acting normally except for her. And if they're all in this fake world where they're just leaning into it, why isn't anyone else around her doing it?
Well, that's why the concept of them going through just procedurals, going to another form of TV for the whole series would have been much better than what we got, which is an abandoned concept within 20 minutes. And then they released the second episode and it just turns into, let's go, girls, let's get the witches together. Oh, let's go.
It turns into 45-year-old wine moms and gays. Like that's
bold and brave. That sounds very bold.
Fucking
girls and
45, 50-year-old women.
Stop selling it to me.
I missed the demographic. 22-year-old non-binary trans weirdos who haven't figured out their fucking pronouns or gender yet, and probably aren't going to be around next year for some reason. Like that's the other demographic that this appeals to.
And 8 of them actually watch the show.
And apparently
demographic. Well, no, they're watching clips on whatever, the Facebook.
Oh, this part literally made me gag when she did this. I fucking hate that shit.
Oh, dude.
I've not had the pleasure of catching up with Agatha just yet. So am I getting this right? She is now a detective. Is that what we're saying?
Well, she was still under Wanda's spell. So
right. Okay.
So 3 years ago, 3 years and 3 years have passed.
Show that no one remembers.
A show that nobody remembers, which is funny. Because she's been under the spell of Wanda for 3 years, and the Marvel has essentially been under the spell of the MCU for 3 years. So she's been under the spell for 3 years in that town that Wanda not only confined but tortured men, women, and children. They seemed to be okay with that, and they were just kind of pandering to Agatha's fantasies that she was going through.
Gaslighting her.
Yeah,
totally.
They're
making her worse. This is like if you walk up to a schizophrenic person shouting at clouds and you go, you better keep shouting at those clouds. There's aliens behind them, and if you stop, the world will end. That you're just making her worse. And this guy who at one point said, we've had those soil analyses back, and there's a microbial bacteria from another part of town. He was loving it. He was making up all kinds of complex crap for her.
Yeah. And she finally, when she breaks out of the spell, when she figures out that that's Wanda Maximoff's body, so she's dead. So it's a dead woman's spell on her. Then she remembers her name, and then she backs up through all her characters from WandaVision, the show that came 3 years ago. And in the fantasy, Wiccan, it's called Teen, but I'm just going to call him Wiccan because that's who he is, breaks into her house, and he's the one who lifted the spell because he's a big fanboy of Agatha. In the meantime, there's another Aubrey Plaza is there, and she's another witch from the Coven, and she wants to kill her, but then can't kill her, but then's going to come back to kill her, but can't kill her, but then get 7 more witches to kill her.
It looks like they had some sort of sexual relationship at some point.
Well, yeah.
There's
a lot of
very
choking.
sexual vibes between them.
They were signaling that like a massive billboard. It's just
it's like if you didn't get it by the choking scene. It's like if you didn't get it by the choking scene, you got it by the licking the hand scene.
Yeah, I was like, what are they gonna go to Home Depot together? How does this gonna end?
Right from the start, she was all like, do you want to take over? It's like, well, you can be in control if you want to. Nearly every line had some kind of insinuation.
Yeah, it really is.
Well, every lesbian relationship, they go to Home Depot together and go to U-Haul separately. So,
well, I thought it explained the domestic violence.
Gary, it started with one of them trying to beat the hell out of the other. So
yeah, it's very accurate. It's very accurate. So Wiccan, who is canonically gay in the comics, is gay in the show. And just in case you didn't know he was gay, he got a fucking phone call. And on the phone, it says boy F for boyfriend. Then why didn't they just say gay boyfriend calling on the phone?
Yeah, he's like, he worries about me so much. God.
I was like, Jesus.
So he's gay then?
Yeah.
Yes.
At one point, when she locks him in the closet, which were particularly on the nose.
I know.
A little bit on the nose.
I know. Oh, my God.
It ain't nothing about that dude screaming closet. Like,
No. So yeah, it's just the procedural. She gets out of the spell. There's the scene where she's naked. When she breaks out of the spell, she's naked, and she walks across to the neighborhood, to the neighbor, and kind of figures out what's going on. And there's a teenage girl like ogling her, and it's not like just
smiling and
like
really
smiling, going,
really happy to see a naked 48-year-old
That really didn't make
woman.
any sense. That would never happen.
Oh, it makes perfect sense. It's on brand for Disney, to be honest with you. But yeah, in a Disney show, Disney's got a bit of a reputation. There you go. So yeah, not surprising. That was the cringe scene in the first episode. And second episode, is that first or second? They bleed together now.
That was first.
That was first episode. Second episode, it's like getting the coven together. So the great thing about this is Agatha doesn't have her powers for the first 2 episodes. So we're just watching. And like, I like Catherine Hahn. She's good in Step Brothers, you know, like little bit parts. She's funny, you know. But like, it's just her being unlikable and getting her team together of middle-aged, diverse to elderly women. And like basically the demographic for this show, a bunch of wine moms getting them together, and they're going to go down the witch's road to go get her power back.
Right.
It's
the powers of wine and resentment.
And it is an interesting choice to follow up like a really popular show that was about a coven of lesbian witches with the show about a coven of lesbian witches. It's really interesting to follow it up with the gayest Star Wars show with the gayest Marvel show. I think that's an interesting choice.
And you couldn't have fucking staggered these out a little more.
And it's
holy shit.
And it's an interesting creative choice to follow all that up with a show that had a circle of lesbian witches singing with a show that has a coven in a circle of lesbian witches singing.
Yeah.
And there's going to be a pop song later on as well, because there's a clip of that in the trailers.
No.
Dude, that
It's
song
bold.
went forever, man. That song.
It's so bold
3 minutes.
for them,
It did.
especially to do this in the wake of Deadpool Wolverine. I mean, I think the MCU's future is just looking very good right now.
Yeah,
It's-
you want to talk
it's
about
schizophrenic.
it? Really is. Well, I mean, but if you look at it, it's Fox superheroes that they brought back. Like, what is Disney's? Pixar was a success. That's the biggest one. But outside of that, Planet of the Apes did pretty well. Alien did really well. Deadpool Wolverine did really well. All Fox properties. And hey, they're well on their way to making up that $72 billion. I mean, it'll only be done in about 1,000 years.
Yeah. Like, obviously, I think that this Agatha thing has been in production for quite some time. I think with a lot of the recent announcements from Marvel, it seems very clear they're trying to shift gears and want to shift gears and realize a lot of this stuff has failed. That does take some time, however, and the things that we know they're still have to put out. Agatha, Ironheart is still out there that needs to be put out. Captain Falcon America, whatever, Brave New World, New World Order, whatever it's fucking called. There are still a lot of things out there that could be really fucking bad and infested with a lot of Marvel and what Marvel has been for the past couple years before we get to this Robert Downey Jr., Dr. Doom, and whoever knows what the hell else they're going to do.
Wow, it's taken a long time.
Ironheart's been in the can for a couple of years now.
Riri Williams, actress that plays her, is going to be in her fucking mid-40s by the time they release that thing.
Right?
Yeah. It's going to be like Millie Bobby Brown when they finish Stranger Things.
I know. She'll be AARP eligible by the time we get season. It's like next year, right?
Yeah,
She's
she'd be too
actually
old.
going to have an iron heart by that time.
Yes.
Millie Bobby Brown's going to be too old for Drake by the time season 5 comes out.
Oh.
Too old for Drake. But as with all Disney Marvel things, it's like, I don't know what the logic was releasing these 2 episodes, because they don't like move the story forward. They just get the team together.
I know what
and-
the logic is.
Why 2? What's with that?
I would have done another one or just one.
The logic is releasing 2 episodes, even if they don't like make too much sense, so you can get the fucking watch time.
Yeah, the watch
So
time.
that when it premieres on the fucking ratings
got it.
chart, that it doesn't say
Dude,
100 million minutes
They
watched,
could have dropped
right?
this all at once and nobody's going to be watching this. This is going to be one of the lowest viewed shows out there. Like, it was not, it was funny that I did notice an advertisement from Marvel on Twitter, on X Twitter, for Agatha. And it was even sponsored at the top of the trending thing. So sponsored by Marvel. I know some people were clapping back on me on Twitter with like, it was a third party. I don't know. And I don't know when this happened, but I recall Bob Iger saying he was going to boycott advertising on X Twitter. And I recall Elon Musk following that up with a go fuck yourself. And here we are. Third party or not. I guess boycotting doesn't mean boycotting if it's done through a third party. That's some interesting logic, but
This is
it
the company that
explains why
pays
you watch the
itself.
show.
Yeah, this is the company that pays itself, right? It's like,
Yes.
oh, we made a lot of money by paying ourselves the streaming rights.
I don't know what.
We paid ourselves $100 million for the rights to stream Thor: Love and Thunder on Disney Plus.
So we made money.
That's why it broke even.
Right. So where do you rank Agatha all along, Disparu?
Well, if it does follow the same path that it's going to get worse as time goes on, Willow also got worse as time goes on. I think it's going to hit like the comedy levels of Willow, because the second episode is bad enough that it's funny, and so as they go on with the pop songs and everything, I think the cringe levels are going to go through the ceiling. So I think if you're in this to take the piss, I think it's going to end up entertaining in its own way. That's why I didn't like the first episode, because it was just kind of dull and too straight. Whereas, well, it wasn't straight, but you know what I mean. But the second episode was way more kind of cringy comedy stuff.
Because I could not get into it at all. Like, I couldn't even devote the amount of attention to really break down the plot or anything like that, because nothing in this piece of crap interests me. And so, oh man,
you didn't talk about, what was it, makeup brush? Yeah,
foundation brush.
Yeah, it's like if you don't like,
cool.
If you don't find Catherine Hahn's comedy as this character funny, there's not a lot from this show to take away right now. There just isn't. That's really all it is. It's like they're letting her do her thing in her character, and some people might think it's really funny. I don't know if a ton of people are. I did feel like when she was when you were talking about her acting in the beginning, Shad, it fucking reminded me, and I saw somebody tweet this out too. It totally reminded me of Sandra Bullock and Miss Congeniality. The way she's fucking chomping her gum, the way she's forcing her way up in line, the kind of like disheveled fucking cop look, like disheveled female cop. It totally reminded me of, I forget the character's name, but Sandra Bullock in Miss Congeniality before she goes and gets like the glow up. I don't know if they were going for that vibe or it just happened to be so, but that stuck in my head for some reason.
Well, I think they should have just done basically original Charmed. You get a load of really attractive early 20s-year-old women. They can have relationships with boyfriends and stuff, and they just kill demons. And that way you can kind of get both demographics. You have the people that are in there, and they can happily ship everyone. But the issue with that is you have to have people in normal relationships who can, there's kids involved and stuff in the plot of Charmed and all that kind of thing. And if you go down this path, you kind of shut yourself off to a lot of that. And you shut yourself
I watched Charmed for the plot when I was in high school.
Or have you guys seen The Craft?
The plot of Alyssa Milano.
Yes.
Yeah, the plot of Alyssa Milano's tits hanging out on every episode.
The Craft is like a great example of like how to actually do, I think, witchcraft. Like it's not so much exposition really. It's like you're just kind of in their world. But I don't know.
Yeah, well, it's too heteronormative and confirmed Disparu like Charmed. So it's good to know that. But
I've seen all of Charmed.
There you go.
I actually
it got a
saw the
little
remake of
crazy
Charmed.
when Piper and Leo's kid like came back from the future to like try to prevent what like that part got a little fucking sketch, you know.
You want to talk about
They
Twilight
have an
next?
issue. Don't get me started, guy. I am throwing it up.
Shit. Hey, when I was watching Alyssa Milano's tits, I absorbed some shit about the show. Okay.
Okay. That is forgivable. Unfortunately, she kept talking, and we got to know her on Twitter.
Yeah, she got worse when she left the show.
You.
Oh my God. Yeah. So, if it wasn't for the second episode, so I didn't like any of it. I just felt like the concept was good. But if it wasn't for the second episode, there wouldn't have been enough to make a video. So I'm grateful that they released the second episode. And apparently, according to Alan Ng and Chris, it gets way worse. Chris definitely, he texts me and goes, Geyest Marvel show confirmed. Absolutely. Thank God. Thank God.
How long are these
I thought you
episodes?
could tell that from the
45 minutes?
first one.
30 minutes.
42 minutes.
Okay.
So, 5 minutes of that's going to be fucking,
Credits.
credits and stuff.
Yeah.
It feels pretty long though. It feels really long, especially like I watched that the night before, recorded my video to like 3 a.m, got up, watched the Rings of Power, which was an hour long.
Just
Recorded some of that video, did some this morning too. Thank God I saw a couple of things that I liked this week. And we're going to get into Am I Racist later because definitely
the only time I gave Agatha a little bit of a chuckle was the point when they're getting the coven together, all the different witches, and like they're all just showing up and they're like, well, we need a green witch, we need a witch that has like a green thumb, and they're like, And Agatha was kind of like glossing over it. She's like, oh, I don't know, it's not important. It almost made it seem like there was someone specifically they had in mind that they ignored. Okay, so it was Aubrey, because then she just goes next door and gets the neighbor, and the neighbor's like, oh, I want to hang out with the gals, which was kind of funny. And then she's like, should we be they like basically trick her into doing this like huge spell.
It's because she hates Aubrey for some reason that she's forgotten. But there was that scene in episode 1 where she says, I've got a black heart. And that was the thing that was written down for her.
Didn't she say it only beats for you or something like that?
Yeah.
But I think the Green Witch, I think that's who Aubrey Plaza's character is supposed to be from the comics.
Okay.
But I don't fucking know. I'm not as into Marvel as...
Yeah, she said,
what was her name? I don't even remember what her name. Did they mention her name in the first 2 episodes? It's like,
I don't think they did intentionally.
The IMDb says Rio. Yeah, I don't fucking know. I don't care.
Even if they did mention it, it was not worth remembering.
Yeah,
as is the show. I especially love the part where she's just going full on about her agency being violated.
Yeah, Rio Vidal.
Rio Vidal. Yeah. So
yeah, with the writing, there was so much like feminist ham fisting going on. Whereas like, I don't know, if you're gonna be genuinely feminist, sure, but this was too forced and too obvious, and like I don't know, the writing.
I think you mean bold and brave.
Yes, that's exactly what she means. No, there
will be feminist fisting later as well.
Right.
I was waiting for it.
It definitely has the affirmation, like, you're powerful. Nobody could have survived this like you. You're a badass bitch. You know, it's like, oh God, just make it stop. And then they followed it up with the agency thing, and it's like, yep. Thank you, Jack Schaefer. Remember, Jack Schaefer didn't know what order to read a comic book in. She didn't know like how you read the comic book panels.
That is a common problem for women to have. So I believe that. Also, people from other countries.
Well, I mean, you read a comic book like you read left to right. I mean, but okay. I saw it going around on Twitter, the people talking about they don't have an inner monologue. Like,
yes.
Yeah, I've seen this.
What?
There's a whole range of that. They don't have an inner monologue. Some people can't think of images in their heads. Can think of images. There's different degrees. So some people only see outlines. Other people can only see it in black and white.
It's just a new disorder that these freaks.
Yeah, I think people are just making shit up. You got to be kidding me.
No, some people can't like change an object. Others can't spin it around. There's a whole. People seriously underestimate the IQ differences across people because they've all been told that everyone's exactly. They're not. The more you actually talk to it, the more you realize.
We are all the same. We are.
Oh, yeah, absolutely.
We're identical in every way.
What you're describing, Disparu, all these like new problems and like disorders that people keep inventing. It's just you're just a fucking idiot. You're just dumb. You can't come to terms with that.
It goes back to the old Frankie Boyle joke that you're not dyslexic. You're just really, really stupid.
Exactly. Dyslexia, the original thing. You just can't fucking read, you loser. Like, Jesus fucking Christ.
Hey, I'm right here, okay? I'm sitting right here, Ryan.
The letters are switching around on me. I swear I have a problem. No, you're just fucking stupid. Shut the fuck up.
Is it a P or is it a D? Do y'all remember that commercial from back in the day?
No.
I mean, it actually shocked me. I didn't even know that was a thing that people couldn't have an inner monologue. It's like, what?
It just means they don't have anything interesting to say.
It's not even able to listen to themselves.
They can't concoct an original thought at all.
Well, it is that they can't understand your perspective, which is why they project their own feelings onto you, because they literally can't comprehend the world from anything outside their own experience. So you can understand why when they become a showrunner, they just make the show that they want to watch, because they can't make anything else. They can only imagine things from their world.
Are these the same people that just operate on vibes?
Yes.
Yes.
They're just known as women.
Vibes.
No, I think that was a good analogy you made on Twitter, Disparu. Like this is what's writing in Hollywood right now, women with no inner monologue. And it would actually explain a lot. I need an explanation for this someday. Hopefully books will be written, a study will be done of why everybody just went insane and hired a bunch of untalented people to take on things they know nothing or care nothing about. But here we are talking about fucking Agatha and the Rings of Power in the same week. And we knew this was coming and it was still bad. It was still bad. Same fucking day, practically within 24. Yeah, it's like we get nothing for like months, and all of a sudden it's like Rings of Power, Agatha All Along, Penguin, The Substance, which everybody's raving about right now. It's like, oh shit, spread it out a little bit, okay? Jeez.
I didn't even realize Penguin was out. I only heard about it like this morning.
It's since I'm the are we all done talking about Agatha? Is there anything anybody burning desires about Agatha all along?
So much I need to get off my chest.
I got a video coming out, so like again, if it wasn't for that second episode, I wouldn't even have made one. But why not? Yeah. So I watched the Penguin. I'll probably do a video. So let's. I want Ryan to get back because we need to talk about good black people, and I think Ryan is the expert in this. Ryan famously went viral as a complete racist for liking the Batman, giving it an 8 out of 10. By the way, better score than I did. By the way, it's another fucking peripheral Batman show. When you should just make a Batman TV show. Like, Batman shouldn't even be in fucking movies, to be honest with you. He should be in a TV show. Almost a procedural TV show, being a detective with his... And I don't mean a beginning Batman or an end Batman. I mean a Batman who's established, with an established rogues gallery of villains, like a full, functioning Batcave. All of it. And a Robin. Even Robin. But, like, as far as this show is concerned, it's from the Batman, which I think was fine for the first 2/3 of the movie, and then the ending was retarded when they made the Riddler an incel. So they start the show going off that Gotham in the Batman has a giant seawall around it, and the Riddler, the incel, with 500 followers on whatever social media he was able to fund blowing up the seawall, and it flooded Gotham, and it flooded only the poor districts. All the suburbs were fine. One of the good black people that Ryan complimented was the mayor of Gotham. She shows up at the beginning, and they do a whole like thing on the news of like kind of getting you up to speed. But after that, it's pretty fucking good. It's pretty good. Like, the one compliment I gave the Batman was Colin Farrell was really good as a very grounded Penguin, and like. I'm kind of over grounded Batman shit. I want to get back into the Warner Brothers is the dumbest company on the planet, because all they've needed to do cinematically is just emulate Batman the animated series. That's all you need to do. Almost use the scripts almost word for word, and you're fucking fine. It would do great. But they've always had some weird take on Batman. We've never seen the Batman from the comics on screen ever. Not even fucking close. Live action. Not even close. But this is still like a good crime series, and Colin Farrell's like really fucking good in it. And so it takes place right after the Batman. I wasn't sure if this was going to be like so it is an origin story, but it takes place after the Batman. They make that very clear. And it's kind of picking up the pieces after the death of Carmine Falcone. So and his son's going to take over, and it's kind of the Penguin's rise. And I saw it's only one episode. I know there's people out there saying, and I know who's saying it because he put it on the title of his video. This is the greatest comic show ever made. No, it's not better than Daredevil, but it's good. It's definitely worth your time so far for one episode. This could descend into total bullshit, but as far as the first episode is concerned, I thought it was really good. I liked it.
Does it feel like a Batman universe show, or is it just a gangster?
It feels more like a gangster TV series, but they definitely play in he's got a hobble. He's got the fucked up leg. He looks like the Penguin. You cannot tell it's Colin Farrell under there. It's like he fucking kills it. And the makeup is really fucking good. Like,
there needs to be some kind of fucking class action lawsuit from every single fat, ugly piece of shit cripple in the world. It's like, we had one fucking role that you could have given to us, and you take Colin Farrell and you turn him into one of us, and you fucking give it to him.
That's a great point.
That's bullshit.
I saw the panel at Comic-Con, and I saw the trailers, and I'm like, it looks like it doesn't terrible, but it doesn't excite me. But after I watched the first episode, I'm like, I'm into it. Okay.
Yeah, none of the marketing. I haven't watched it yet. It's on my list to watch either tonight or tomorrow. But none of the marketing made me excited. And very famously, I liked the Batman. None of the stuff I saw made me like, oh, I really can't wait to watch this. But I definitely want to give it a shot. And it sounds like I've heard good things from it so far.
Sorry, I'm getting a message. I won't say from who. It says, keep talking Batman. I'm almost there.
38 seconds later.
Yep. Yeah. So I think you should, if you got Max, go check it out. Yeah, it's a good crime thriller set in Gotham, a fucked up Gotham from the Batman. They mentioned the Batman in the beginning, but that's it for the first episode. And it's about the vacuum left by Carmine Falcone at the end after he's dead. And there's a power vacuum, and now they're setting up a big gang war. His daughter just got out of Arkham. She's a little crazy. And I don't want to spoil too much more, but definitely check it out. And
so better or worse than Agatha?
I'm going to say better. I'm going to say a lot better.
Okay.
A lot better. A lot better than Rings of Power. A lot better than Rings of Power.
How can that be?
I'm sorry, I'm reading that message again. So
I thought you were setting up like a new intro, so everyone.
No. I quote, I'm gonna come. I wish I still had that.
Do not come.
Do not come.
Do not come.
I used to have that audio, but I don't anymore. But we can.
What the fuck? I just saw this. I just saw this pop up in our things there from the guy who gave the Batman 8 out of 10.
Oh, that's great.
Great meme template.
I am racist.
Oh, good Lord.
You look hideous in that. It's great.
It's a really weird, like, they've cut off.
Someone
like,
found the only picture of you not looking forward.
Yeah. It's like I'm looking over that way, so it looks very strange, but it's all right. I do keep accidentally saying I am racist.
It's not an accident, Ryan. It's not an accident.
Yeah, just like subconsciously, like coming out of my mouth, probably. Yeah. But.
So, like basically, this is why we watch this stuff to find out. Because, like, as skeptical as I was about, and again, it can turn to shit. It's one episode. And no, it's not as good as Daredevil because Daredevil has the main character from the comics in it, and the Penguin does not. But it just proves that you could absolutely, and that's, if they wanted to continue the Robert Pattinson Batman, which is fucking ridiculous at this point since they're relaunching the DCEU, you just bring it to TV, make it a TV special,
a TV show,
make it a prestige series that comes out once every couple of years, and you don't even have to, like.
What if we actually got a fucking detective Batman series?
Right. So half the show could be about Batman. The other half could be about his rogues gallery of villains and how fucked up Gotham is. And it would do great. It would do great. And it could be grounded. And that way you could do whatever you want with Batman in the new DC. God, that's, man, Warner Brothers. They really, like, James Gunn's superhero universe is going to start at the bitter end of the superhero film.
But look what Gotham did. They set up all the villains, and then just as Batman was beginning to stop being a little kid, ended it. It's like,
yeah,
every time they get to where Batman could be Batman, no, we've got to finish the series now and restart it again.
Gotham was ridiculous. Was a ridiculous concept, a ridiculous show. I watched it for a little while, but like, Fish Mooney, come on.
I watched it for way too long.
Jada Pinkett Smith as Fish Mooney she was terrible. She was so fucking awful in that show.
The Riddler's turn for Penguin, just out of nowhere. Like, suddenly he's obsessed with him. And everything he does is just for Penguin to try and get him into bed. It was the most bizarre twist I've ever seen.
Yeah, I'm sorry I missed all that.
I stopped watching the first episode when James Gordon just happens to run into like the 5 most famous heroes and villains that will exist in Gotham in the course of 30 minutes. It's like, okay, I see what they're doing here. Got it.
Yeah. And by the time Batman grows up, they're all going to be in their 80s, right? So, like, what's the point? What's the point?
One of the reasons why Batman And really, a lot of the superhero properties would do so well on just procedural television is that all the lore in their comic books, right? There's so much story that they could explore, but at the same time, there are some really cool things that happen later on that you need to progress through all these lore, right? All these stories, everything to get there. And you don't have the time to do that in the movies unless you skip heaps and heaps of continuity.
Exactly. And
as a fan, that just frustrates me because I want to see the process to get there. But yeah, I want to see the third and fourth Robin, right? I want to see what happens throughout all.
You go back to old school TV with 20, 25 episodes. That way you can have your villain of the week and have an overarching theme throughout the entire season, right?
And I'm really confused though, because that sounds great, but I've not heard you mention DEI at all. So,
yeah.
Right. Where does that come in?
That can't work, right?
No.
That was the last half of the Arrowverse.
Yeah. Hey, on the CW, a whole network that never turned a profit, never made a single penny throughout its entire existence. Good old CW. It's still around in some form.
When we see that, I wish we got some sort of breakdown on like the shows themselves. Because I find it hard to believe that during some of those seasons of Arrows that show itself wasn't profitable. And like the reason they doubled down so hard on making so many different spin-offs, between that and Flash. But yeah, the network itself with so many other shows on it that never fucking turned a profit. You know, I want to know where the breakdown is. How did The 100 do? That's a show I watched on CW.
Yeah, well, none of them. Well, I mean, you mean per show breakdown? Okay.
Exactly,
yeah.
right? Because, yes, the company, like CW, the channel, never had a year where they fucking made a profit. But what about, like, where are we ranking that in terms of this show?
That's
show?
A good,
do you know what I mean?
You got to guess that, like, The Flash did well and Arrow did well in the beginning.
I find it hard to believe that it had fucking 8 or 9 seasons of Flash and Arrow and never made a single dime on it. Do you know what I mean?
Well, that's Hollywood now. That it really is. Who just that was talking about that? Either way, it was talked about. Clownfish did a video about IDW. And IDW said the quiet part out loud in the CEO because basically IDW has been running on investor capital forever. So it's not really making any money. It's running on loans and investor capital. That's pretty much what the CW was. That's pretty much what every tech company is when it starts out. And that's pretty much where the studios are at. Warner Brothers is billions in debt. So technically they're never making a profit because they're in debt. But the way they shift everything around, they can be liquid in some areas and some other areas, but ultimately the entire company is in debt more than they're worth, or that's arguable, or they'd have to sell. And it's just a shell game at this point, which means you're not that successful. You've already reached maturity and now you're robbing Peter to pay Paul to stay in existence or buy out another company while you're still in debt to stay in existence. That's how cable hung around for so long. That's why it's still hanging around. But yeah, that's they don't make any money, and that's why the tech companies are coming in as vanity projects and making things like Rings of Power because it doesn't matter. It's not good. If Amazon shut down Prime Video tomorrow, it wouldn't affect the company in any way, shape, or form. They wouldn't give a fuck.
Sounds like the United States in a lot of ways. Just,
yeah.
You know,
yeah,
spending money we don't have and printing it out of nowhere. Just like, you know, giant Ponzi scheme, basically.
A global machine. Mm-hmm. The globalists. But hey, speaking of Rings of Power, let's talk about that exciting.
I've heard of that show.
Lord gang raping episode. Oh, dude. Okay.
This was so dumb. The stupidity in like throughout this whole episode was painful to get through, and I'm wondering like, how can it be? Like it passes through so many hands. Surely someone with a half-functioning brain cell must have looked at this and said, yeah, this is completely retarded. It doesn't make sense. But no, I suppose that didn't happen because we got what we got. It's amazing.
The only way this show works in your head, if you're like a normal thinking person, is you just have to assume everybody in Middle Earth is retarded. Like that's pretty much it. It's idiocracy. It's Fallout. That's how it works. Johnny, what did you think of this episode?
Like you said, everyone's retarded. I found it very relatable.
I saw myself.
I saw myself in every character, particularly Tom Bombadil. You have this enigmatic character that endless possibilities. And I don't know if you noticed, but the one line they gave him in this episode was he thought that Gandalf said snoring when he said Nori.
Yes.
Did you get that? Because it sounds...
It sounds like snoring. They kind of rhyme, yeah.
Letters.
It's exactly
it sounds
what...
like. Hang on, it sounds like a lot of you are not getting this. Nori sounds like snoring. I don't know.
Wow.
Let's just give them the Emmy, all right, for the best writing on
go.
an episode. Yeah.
Tom Bombadil.
Cinema. Even though it's on streaming, it's still cinema. What did I see somebody on Twitter? The transition, best transition ever when Sauron, who apparently has the power to completely take over Celebrimbor's mind and make this illusion that it's daytime and not night.
No, not when it's scrolling around.
Yeah, the same Sauron who got Caesared by a half a dozen orcs. Okay, so I'm not really sure how
they retconned that though. They were like, oh well, because we stabbed him with Morgoth's helmet, it was actually Morgoth's power which did all the damage.
Can we talk about that? That's not fucking Morgoth's crown. Morgoth is between 25 and 30 feet tall, so they did mention downsizing a little bit.
They said they resized his crown,
That's a massive resize, okay? That's taking a little thing of Morgoth's crown. Morgoth's crown was fashioned into a collar in the First Age by the Valar, by the way. So that's not Morgoth's crown. Maybe Margaret's crown, but not Morgoth.
The logic of it is like Morgoth. I'm going to make a helmet that can kill angelic beings, but instead of making it like a dagger or a weapon that will be used, I'm going to make a hat out of it.
The crown had the Cimmerals in it, so that was the
if the helmet can kill me, I'm not going to, like you said, I'm not going to make it out of spikes just in case somebody stabs me with it.
Right.
I'm already powerful enough that I can kill everything else. So it's only the weapons that can hurt me that I'm concerned about at that point.
Brings me back to the
And it didn't have the Silmarils in at that point. And I'm like, what's his strategy to like put it on his head and then just ram him?
I need to see that now. Or like just headbutt somebody.
Exactly. He bull rushes.
Why does it need to be pointy?
It makes Sauron even dumber back to that first episode where it's like he like looks up and it's like, oh, if you only stab me with that, then I'll die.
You're exactly right. If I knew this thing had the power to kill me, I'm not letting anyone touch that thing.
Well. It didn't kill him. You're forgetting about Supron.
True.
He didn't die. He turned into a puddle.
Yeah,
A big,
stupid into a pile of goo.
Chow mein puddle. Yeah.
Flubber, as Little Platoon called it, Flubber, black Flubber, and ate a millipede, a rat, and a peasant woman, and became Halbrand, the thirst trap of many 5s and 10s of dysfunctional Catwomen out there.
Yeah, I was gonna say
now.
there's a lot of peasant women that wish they were the ones that got eaten.
Yeah, yeah, that's right.
Right, Chrissy?
Yep. You take what you can get. If it's a blubber blob, that's fine.
Did you like this episode, Chrissy?
It was confusing, and I think it's funny because I'm looking up what like this other review, and let me read this part here. I clicked off the page. It's just like, like longtime fans might be upset with the like diverting away from the storyline, but newer viewers might like the action-packed scenes. Overall, it's like I have to find it. They really sugarcoated it.
What action in this one?
I was gonna say,
I know. I was like, where
did you not see the end when it's
I mean,
oh, look what's about to happen? Credits.
Oh, you mean all the elves, which are renowned for their
which they've done
eyesight,
twice now,
can't see people across the river? And at one point, Sauron walks up to the walls, and there's smoke all in the distance behind the trees. Nobody's watching it. It's like, look.
No one notices the whole, and it's like
they didn't
an
notice the
army
ditch
of
either that they dug.
thousands. I can't believe it. There's an army of thousands just over the next hill. They literally show at the end of the episode. It's a small hill. The big towers in Eregion would be able to see it. No one notices.
No.
And then they eat.
Are you talking about when Sauron's walking the battlements of Eregion and he notices the big campfires and not a single? I guess in Eregion they don't send out scouts. They don't have lookouts.
Oh, but they do. Do you remember when Halbrand went to Mordor?
Oh, they do. But you think they would have
Mordor?
But even if they don't send, which they did, by the way, they have lookouts because you see them later in the episode. So those lookouts, what the fuck were they doing?
Exactly. They're like, oh no, we're under attack.
How did they sneak up on us with the trebuchets?
These are people who can make art visible only by moonlight, and they don't even have a basic fire drill. These people were running around like headless chickens. For like you saw throughout the whole of that vision that he made Celebrimbor see. He flashed back, and they're still running around.
Yes.
Go inside. I don't know.
Yeah. Run away from the shots from the trebuchet that are coming right at you.
And they establish the army is there the entire episode because Adar isn't moving. He's just sitting in the same spot talking to Galadriel the whole time. And Sauron had the time to go to the Dwarven Kingdom and come back. And so what are we talking about? Like days, weeks that this army is sitting there?
At least a week because he went to the dwarves twice. He went there, got turned away, and then had to go back once. I think he said, "Well, let him wait, and then we can ask our own price." So we went there at least twice.
Oh gosh!
And then what is Gil-galad doing at this point? We haven't even seen him.
Gil-gadad.
Is he just? Oh, sorry.
He's
Gil-gadad.
He is standing out of the tree.
He's standing there, and when no one's watching, just stuffing bread in his face.
Eating lambest bread.
He's eating Olive Garden breadsticks by the dozen.
Yeah, Gil-galad, little pudgy. So the episode starts out with Don Lemonless because we haven't seen his character in a while. And dude, it is clear that they got rid of Bronwyn. Theo got sent packing. The Harfoots are barely in scenes anymore, so it's clear that they're moving away from some of their characters. Thankfully, Don Lemonless a bit marginalized in this episode, I'm gonna say.
There was an interview at the start where he said that. They said, "So what's your favorite part of the series?" And he went, "Well, you have to understand, in some series, some characters will be parked. So your favorite character may not be in all the scenes, but it doesn't mean that their actions don't reverberate through the series." Definitely talking about himself.
Yeah,
he's just like a random assassin now. And I was thinking about that again. Whenever I watch these shows, I always end up getting caught in, hey, what if they had just done this and it hadn't been shitty? And one of the things I was thinking is I'm like watching him, what if it really was an elf who very much lost his way and was just fucking hell-bent on revenge and gets fucking corrupted and stuff. What if we got to see him go down that path and become an actual villain? See him become essentially Adar, that type of role. But they're never going to do that with him for obvious reasons. But you have to wonder what this would have. Yeah, exactly. You also have to wonder what the show would have looked like if Bronwyn hadn't quit acting. And she was still there. Would that have played a more major role? It seemed like they were really setting those two up to lead this little colony of loser humans. But I don't know.
They would lead the humans to come help Eregion during the siege. That would be the Rohirrim coming at the.
She would open up the Eregion dispensary. That's what she would do. So because she was the warrior healer who decapitated 2 orcs. But then died of an infection. Is that what she died of?
Yeah, orcs poisons work in mysterious ways.
Yeah, they kill people.
Poison orc arrows.
That's so weird.
Even after thousands of years of fighting them, we elves still haven't begun to figure out their secrets. When you get hit by a poison arrow, you die.
Yeah.
They have a delayed response. You think you heal them, but you have to be paying attention because a week later it can just come right back.
It's a 2-year delay.
A 2-year delay, right?
Which brings up a good point, which is what period of time is this happening over? You have people going from city to city and back. You have, but at the same time, it feels like months have passed. Where you have other things that clearly it's just a few days. I have no idea what you're supposed to interpret the passage of time.
I don't think you are. I really don't think you are.
But that ruins it because then it feels like either the characters are teleporting between massive amounts of distances, because Ryan's absolutely right. They are horrible at conveying the passage of time in this show, and you have no idea. You're just completely lost.
But I think that's completely intentional though, because there's so many key points throughout various Tolkien books. You can't tie yourself down to any one thing because then it's like, well, why? it's too intricate. They can't be weaving their little things around what's actually happening. So it's just fast and loose. I don't know. It's just kind of happening. I really don't think.
Well,
that's the problem. If you want to tell a lot of these stories, what they should have done is have some sort of buildup where these events happen in the order that they should be happening in the book that they don't actually own the rights to. Like put these events out there in order, and then we can see them happening as they should have happened. And you can have time jumps. You're talking about beings who should be looking exactly the same 300 years later. So it really shouldn't be that much of a problem. But instead, they wanted to tie all of these things together and tell this story about the fucking Harfoots right in line with the elves, where you know damn well it hasn't been months and months and months that the Harfoots have been on their little journey. That's been maybe a week or two. Like that's what it feels like.
There was an Alien series by Spielberg called Taken that did generational leaps between series. Done really well. Proved it worked. As long as you're good at introducing new characters, new actors aren't a problem, especially as you got those characters to do it. So that's definitely one way to do it. Otherwise, if they still wanted to smash everything together and do it this way, I would have preferred an entire episode of Numenor and do the entire series thing of Numenor in one episode. So at least you're not ping-ponging around all over the universe. So it feels like they're happening at the same time. That conversation with Adar, in the middle of that, Sauron goes to the dwarves twice. And then he comes back and they're just in the middle of the same conversation.
Yeah.
So it's the ping-ponging that really throws off the sense of time. Whereas if they kept everything in the same episode, I think you could forgive them and be like, well, we can't really compare the two.
As a wise woman once said, the significance of the passage of time is the significance of the passage of time.
That sounds very wise.
Very wise. Johnny's right.
It sounds like unburdened knowledge.
Presidential.
Yes.
One could say.
Yes.
I feel unburdened just by listening to it, of my thoughts.
Did anyone else pick up how much they're really trying to make the orcs and Adar sympathetic and even potentially?
Well, going back to Don Lemonless, which, by the way,
treating
Gary,
him like a
was
minority.
it you that came up with the whole Don Lemonless thing?
Yes.
That is one of the best names I've heard so far. Absolutely. Because obviously over here, we don't know who Don Lemon is. It wasn't until I went looking, I was like, I understand. That's hilarious.
I can't use my nickname for him on YouTube.
Okay. But to go back to him, those two orcs that he runs across in the woods, he catches them walking away from the battle, sort of saying, you know, I'm just not willing to fight for that cause. I'm going over.
They don't want to die.
What are they fighting for then exactly? What is their purpose?
Well, what I find fun is they don't want to die in a battle for Adar because what they're not.
These are listen, Shad. These are hard raping orcs who just want to provide for their little orc babies. Okay, that's what they are.
That's the bizarre thing. They want to make Adar look like this sympathetic guy in this episode, and he just committed a genocide on all the Southlands, right? To give his orcs a home, wiping heaps of people's like.
Hey, maybe
either the writers are forgetting that, or the fact that Galadriel is entertaining the idea of allying with him, she's forgetting it.
Maybe either they're setting up the Middle Earth genocide that happens before the Third Age. With all the races. Yeah, I don't know.
Can you imagine, since like it's going to be all of the dark-skinned, diverse Harfoots and stores that like found the Shire, right?
Yes.
And as soon as that happens, all the white people just like overthrow them and steal their land. Like that's going to be like the message at the end of this series. All the white folks are living on stolen land.
All the 9 rings of power for the men, they're all white men.
The issue with the orcs is their own plot for them isn't consistent, because Adar originally turned on Sauron because he wanted him to go to war and they didn't want to die. So I'm not going to take him to war because then they'll die. First thing he does when Sauron comes back, takes him to war again, and just has them all killed. The other guy was right when he said, why do we need to go and fight? Why can't we just stay here? And especially when Sauron is the one that told you to invade Eregion to get him. Like, it seems like Adar always knew Halbrand was Sauron, even when he had him under his control.
Yes. But no.
Why not just attack him with the crown again?
I want to get to that in just a moment. But first, let's go to Grandma Brimbor and the staff meeting of the Gen Z multicultural Elven Smiths of Eregion, who were working in the hostile work environment and complaining about his behavior. And then he just all of a sudden goes, I need to work. I can't even find my hammer. And he forgot Modernity's name. And yes, that's what I call her, Modernity. And then Anatar just takes over and fires everybody and says, listen, gay boyfriend, you need to work by yourself and work on the 9 rings for men, because obviously, creating the rings out of order has taken its toll on this character. And it sets up the dumbest fucking thing at the end of the episode, which we'll get to. But that whole scene was just, what the fuck is this? How does he, nobody suspects Anatar, and I was talking about it on my watch party. It's like Sauron's got to be kind of frustrated at this point. He's all, 500 years of planning. I've set up this web and weaved intricate plans, and all these motherfuckers are retards. All I have to do is go, you're kind of pretty. You have a nice smile, and they fucking believe me. I didn't have to work this hard. I could have done this 500 years ago. I'm rooting for Sauron, by the way. I hope everybody fucking dies.
Same. Oh my gosh! And then after that scene, they're like, we have a messenger, well, not really a messenger. Someone has come back with a black speech carved into their chest, and we just thought we wanted to no one's raising the alarm.
I know.
Yeah, I'm just
what does the message say? Where is he? Oh, well, that's cool. We're going to get back to work now. I'm going to go home because I got fired. We're good, right? All right, cool.
I didn't even tell her that, other than the fact that she looks like Galadriel and he really wants to have sex with Galadriel. So
she's better looking than Morphic Clark for sure. I mean, I'll give her that.
I'd bend her over, show her the 50 states.
He says, don't show anyone. The corpse has been lying in the middle of this open area with elves walking
at the front door.
Yeah, at the front door.
Everyone's seen it already, but it's don't show anyone.
How much power does she have over the other jewelers? I did like when she's like, don't talk, raise your voice at me. We've been working so hard. It's like, what, making jewelry? You've been trying to make 9 rings and you've got all muck all over your face and stuff. What have you been doing with yourself? But once he says, you've been fired, there's an army outside the town, but whatever you do, don't tell Celebrimbor about it. Yeah. Make sure nobody else does as well. And she's like, okay.
After being fired and seeing a dead body that basically says Sauron is here. That's like, what the fuck? It's so dumb.
I don't know about you.
Celebrimbor. Okay, sorry, Sid.
Well, if I'm in a city and one of our scouts that we send out comes back with a carved message on his dead corpse, I would kind of be raising the alarm. I'd be like,
that warrants a phone call at least to somebody, right?
But they don't tell anyone, and they don't even tell the Lord of the city. And then when Sarah goes like, this is comical nonsense.
It really is.
I did like. It throws the entire power dynamic and power level out of perspective. I did like him fooling Celebrimbor with that vision. It was interesting, the idea that Sauron could do that, could control somebody and manipulate them in that way. But then it just makes you ask the question, why doesn't he do this to every single fucking person in every single situation? And maybe if they did show some type of power drain or something, that it took a lot out of him to do it, something like that shows I have limitations on this, and that's why I need to make this ring to help it easier to control these people, blah blah blah. But I liked the idea and principle of showing that.
That's why he closed his eyes. That's why he closed his eyes.
That's why
he had everything.
That's why it requires.
You have to trust him.
It requires a hardcore nerd who understands this, who understands Shad's going to like this, power levels and keeping them consistent for verisimilitude. My favorite part was anytime Sauron did anything Sauron-y, he walked away with a smirk, just to let you know he's doing some evil.
With the music going as well.
With the music going.
And they played the Sauron theme. Did you hear it? We played it. It means he's evil.
Evil.
It's like, thank you for spelling out that this is Sauron, which everyone has known since he uttered his first fucking line in the first fucking episode when you thought you were being clever.
Speaking of that.
They can't do power levels, though, because they can't do authority levels. They don't believe in hierarchy as a whole. This is why you can have a jeweler's assistant overriding a god who is like the leader of all the god. And once a jeweler's told me to not tell anybody, I'm definitely going to listen to her.
So
it's like listening to your baker.
That's intersectional. That's DEI. That's DEI requirements, and it's not something that's dictated. It's something that they self-edit on. We saw this in fucking Rings of Power is Star Trek Discovery. So chain of command, kind of important in Star Trek. Okay, a little important in Star Trek, and there's a chain of command in Lord of the Rings too. But no, it doesn't matter. Disparu's right. Modernity pops off all the time on fucking Celebrimbor, who they made this old fucking estrogen-filled granny, like, which is
stinks of death.
Yeah, it's and it's supposed to be a tragic story. It's supposed to be very sad what happens to this guy.
But it's rampant throughout the whole series. You had the other elven general woman telling Gil-galad, no, you need to go to war. No, you have to. Like, you have to send your army there.
Yes.
Like, no, it would never happen. You had family man Orc telling Adar, do you know what? We don't need to go to war. We should just stay here. There is no sense of authority.
None. God, imagine making the movies now. It'd be a fucking nightmare. Yeah. Oh my
they really
God.
do leave like so much like that they could have done with this, because like they really could have played into the reason why he can now basically take control of Celebrimbor's mind and make him see things is because this is kind of how like temptation works. This is kind of how demonic possession works, right? They could have gone that angle with it, and instead they just completely, skip over several steps.
The problem is,
yes,
the writers seem to, or the showmakers seem to think that if they pose the elves as easily manipulated by Sauron, that means that he is a master manipulator. But it doesn't. It just makes him look like an idiot, and the elves look even more stupid.
You have to remember, though, to the showrunners, this is master manipulation. This is like as manipulative as they can be. This is their intellectual peak, which is why you would immediately replace them when you found out this is what they want to write.
Well, because that's the thing, like what they show him doing to manipulate people is some of the most retarded stuff ever. Like when he lies to Celebrimbor about, I don't know, the king.
The deception thing was so stupid. It's like, we made them with deception, so we need to make more with deception. Like
retarded, right?
Right. The first part of that, it's like, okay, like I can see, like he suspects Sauron of doing something and fucking with the shit. So he can gaslight him to believing, no, it's our fault because we didn't tell them about it and this and that. But then to say my new plan is to double down on not telling with the deception, and this time I promise it'll be better. That's like the part where that falls apart.
Exactly.
The funniest scene in this entire series is going to be when Sauron reveals himself to Celebrimbor, and he's going to be surprised, and we're just going to laugh our asses off.
Celebrimbor's just going to jump out a window.
I mean,
he's back.
When Sauron told Celebrimbor that Gil-galad said no more making any of the rings, right? That could have backfired. Gil-galad said, all right, we better put a stop on it. But because, he read the script beforehand, that'll work out, right? And so his manipulations are retarded. And in this episode as well, every time they try and make him look clever, they don't have the intelligence to pull it off. And his big illusion magic that he does right at the end, they're trying to say he can do it because he's in Celebrimbor's head. Right? The issue is he takes him outside and casts an illusion that the only way that illusion can work if it works on every single one else in that courtyard. But is he in everyone else's head at the same time?
He couldn't convince him to stay inside, but he could produce a vision like that. It's
The way they said it worked is once you trust him, he can get into your mind whenever he wants, which is why it's dangerous for Galadriel to meet him, because she's already trusted him once, and so he can basically control your mind. So he couldn't control any of the people
I hate
there.
that so much.
But that makes it really stupid, even worse, because now you're seeing Celebrimbor out in the open, and no one's going, what are your orders? Like, we're being invaded, we're panicking. It's like, no, everyone just ran past him.
Exactly. He would have been standing in the middle of this massive alert catastrophe, just like, look at this nice thing, and no one approaches.
Well, I think the implication for this would be even if someone did, because the way he's controlling him, he wouldn't even hear or see that person. He would just be out there wandering like a lunatic.
They did Joe Biden. They did Joe Biden Celebrimbor.
Yes,
they've hit him with dementia. They've hit him with everything.
He's just like walking through the apocalypse with an ice cream cone.
Yeah. But then that would out Sauron because he's talking to Sauron, and Sauron is also physically in the same spot. And so if anyone tried to approach, get Celebrimbor's attention, and he doesn't respond, but is talking directly to Sauron, I'll be like,
his justification for talking Celebrimbor into like, you're gonna finish this, or I'm gonna tell everybody in the seen and unseen world you're a dick. It's like, what the fuck?
That's the level of his manipulation. So basically, it's so stupid. But the writers think this is clever. They actually think this is so manipulative, so smart. They're proud of this piece of crap, and it's stupid all the way through. but they actually think they've made something clever, and that astounds me.
No, speaking of not clever, we have Guy Ladriel sitting down with Adar, the completely original Amazon character, having a dinner amongst orcs and possibly even as a prisoner, treating with orcs. Galadriel.
Not only that, she allies with him. She fully
tells him everything.
And then betrays her entire people, betrays her king, gives away crucial, critical, tactical information of the position of armies and where the ring is and everything. And Adar is like, he didn't even need to work for it. He was just like, we need to kill Sauron. And the guard's just like, here's everything you need to know.
And then tells him, you're lying. You'll get no information from me. And wait, what? You already have. It's like, if you write that in the script and you know what she's just done, why don't you go back and go, no, that does make her look stupid, doesn't it? For this character, this is what they always do. For a character that they want to seem big, powerful, empowered, the master of everything, and they always make them seem like an idiot. It's bizarre to me why they'd write them that way.
Well, they write what they know. This is writing onto their level. It was
Can we talk about the fact that they can't even depict, decent handcuffs? I don't know if you saw the handcuffs.
The manacles. Yes,
I know.
It was sealed with a press stud.
They spent so much time to see him handcuff her to that chair.
It was a close-up. They gave it a close-up. They wanted you to see it.
I thought there was some implication that she was going to free herself from it or whatever because of the way that they set that up.
Here it is, X-Ray Girl. I don't know if you found the article yet. All right, there you go. So when you share this article out, that's not the headline. The headline, I'll read it to you. It says, women are taking charge in this week's Rings of Power episode, but it still ends with an unhinged Sauron scene. So just
the world is falling apart. That's the worst thing.
So during this scene, by the way, I just far be it from me to point out that this entire season has been directed by women. The previous 2 episodes have been directed by 2 women. Okay. It's produced by women. The head of Amazon Prime is a woman. So let's go to just the
and the showrunners may as well be.
Right here. This is perfect. Basically. This is the showrunner this year anyway. Lindsay Weber has been the showrunner because J.D. Payne and Patrick McKay were pretty much out of commission during the strike.
My favorite speech from the showrunners is when they said evil talks to you in your own words, and it says something basic to you that lets you project your own thoughts and feelings onto the speech. And I still just think that's what they've done. Every time anyone meets them, they go, these people love Tolkien. They love everything about it. They're so amazing. I have full faith in it. And then it comes out and it's trash. But they can always convince the next person.
Well, I mean, that's why I wanted to just read this paragraph before we talk about the next scene.
I've just seen the title.
There are so many individual stories in this week's episode. It's hard to believe there's only 2 more left. How will all these narratives merge into one? One thing we do know in the 4 storylines, which will intertwine eventually, all share the same thing. Listen to women. From Numenor, former queen, to strong-willed Disa Nuts, to 2 Harfoots. The episode of the Rings of Power had women figuring things out and taking charge. Yeah, women! Woo! Woo!
Making those mistakes. All right.
Celebrimbor literally used Disa to nag Jorin until he gave up and just had the rings made. That was actually a point that Celebrimbor made. If you just let her nag him long enough, she will wear away stone.
Is a super skill.
It is. So we have this scene. I don't need to read any more of this because it'll make my brain melt. In this scene, we have Guy Ladriel talking to the Amazon original Adar, and you know how she takes charge? She gives up that she she talks about the fucking ring Nenya to Adar. She tells him about the elven ring, name drops it, tells him who she gave it to, and confirms Halbrand is Sauron in one conversation. That's her taking charge. By the way, this is the woman who didn't tell anybody Sauron was Sauron when she knew. So if you mean taking charge by absolutely fucking everything up, okay. It's kind of in line with all the women behind the show.
She betrays her people. This is one of the greatest acts of treason in siding with the enemy and giving him information. Like battles, wars have been won and lost by information on the location of armies. And she just spills everything to Adar here. I couldn't believe it.
And he's supposed to be
justified. Like, when she says, well, what they'll come down with an army, circle everyone, get Sauron trapped in the city, and then we'll win. And he's like, yeah, but what's going to happen to me? Do you think they're just going to let me walk away from their city with an army? Obviously, the elves would go and wipe them out. So it's tough to fault him from his position in this, except for the fact that he's been following Sauron's plan and knows it right from the start.
Yes. Now, the worst crime against imagination about this show is you've taken Galadriel, the Lady of Lorien, and completely, by the way, they have ignored stuff that's in the appendices that's there. They could adapt it. The Order of the Rings is in there, and they could have adapted it, but they didn't. Now, I'm going to bring up stuff that's in the Silmarillion, which they can adapt, but they could certainly mirror it a little bit. But instead, they got rid of her husband. They got rid of her daughter. They have her hanging out with orcs. They're shipping her with fucking Sauron. And instead of this graceful, beautiful, powerful woman, they made her into a retarded dude. That's pretty much what they've done in the name of intersectionalism. So bravo, Amazon. If you wanted to set out to make the worst adaptation of all time of anything, this is it. This is it. So yeah, she just gives it all up. And Adar goes, you fell into my plan.
Basically, I just quickly went back to the episode because I needed to remind myself what was Adar's convincing logic to make Galadriel betray everything. And it actually wasn't anything he said. It was Galadriel coming to one of the most retarded conclusions. She thinks that Sauron will never leave the city Eregion until he finishes the rings. And she says that gives us a momentary advantage. And Adar looks and goes, us? And then that's it. Then she's fully on board and she spills the beans, betrays everyone, tells them everything. And it's under the assumption that she thinks Sauron, even upon imminent death, won't just turn into a bird and leave the city. And she's like, no, like, we've got him. He's cornered. And that means we can get him. And she allies with him. It's like, that logic is so stupid. He could just leave at any time. It's not looked in.
They do have the crown, though.
Yeah, they have the crown. And that is going to be big because I'm sure Galadriel's going to fucking...
They're just going to catapult
as a scene
Region, just
where they sword fight with it.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. I can almost guarantee that she is going to take that and use it to try to kill him, and he's going to try to take it back from her and put it on. And that's where you have that. You're right, from the trailer where they got it interlocked with the sword there.
Oh, yeah, I forgot
having
about
their little romantic moment.
The issue is they haven't given Sauron
Morgoth's pinky ring. Sorry.
They haven't given Sauron a reason why he even wants Eregion destroyed anymore. If he was wiping out the city to get the rings, it would make sense. Now why? Because you've run this big gamble that this army is going to arrive and you're going to have the rings done in time. That is not assured. Even now, it's going down right to the wire. So there's no way. I don't know if you watched the after show where they said as he goes on the thing at the end and raises his arms, you hear the orchestra wind up and tune up, and that is to symbolize
orchestrated everything.
He has orchestrated everything. It's like, yeah, but
wow,
not this exact second. So
that's
give the villain a motivation for it.
Well, yeah, that's kind of my question. Does he actually? Is Sauron doing something to prevent the rings from being made until like the last possible moment? Is that like what they're going for, what they're implying?
Well, that's what they're doing.
Yeah, they haven't revealed what his plan is. Like the only reason Adar is there with his army is because Halbrand went and told him Sauron is at the city, go kill him. And that could backfire massively. And so I do not believe the writers have the competence or intelligence to give a good, satisfying payoff explanation to explain why the hell he did this, because this could be the thing that could have ruined his plans completely. The characters in this show have selective stupidity. And it's really funny because in the scene where Adar is like manipulating Galadriel and then Galadriel gives him everything, he does something that's actually intelligent, but with knowledge he shouldn't have. He realizes Galadriel is awful, and if he allies with her, she will screw up everything. And that and so he says, your drive to prove your virtue will work right into Sauron's design. And it's like, that's actually correct based on knowledge he shouldn't have about Galadriel, but she is awful. Her vanity and desire to kill, Sauron has ruined everything. And so Adar suddenly is randomly smart in that moment, yet he gets really stupid later on when she says, why did Sauron bring you here? You're doing exactly what he wants. Adar should be saying, yeah, that is a bit of a problem. Why did Sauron bring me here to go supposedly kill him? but he's like, nah, it'll be fine. We're gonna kill him. And
I was gonna say, but did you see a face while she was saying it?
She was like, yeah.
I think the reason they'll use is that he made the rings and then had the orcs destroy the city so that no more rings can be made. I think that's what they're going to say. And it's just going to be a really cheap excuse.
Oh my god.
Well, what if those 9 rings don't turn out well? Then they're going to have to make another 12.
They will, because he's put his blood
counterbalance
on the mithril. So what they're going to explain is, like, well, the elves, he was nothing to do with them. He had a bit more to do with the dwarves because he touched it. And this has physically his blood in the mithril. And it's used with more mithril than anything else, which is why it creates the ring wraiths. They've made that kind of logic for it.
Okay.
We have to find out the origin of everything. Like, Nori will make the Shire.
Oh, I guess she will.
Yeah,
we haven't talked about
Garrett.
the most important development of this entire fucking series, which is Poppy's romance with nobody.
With Buckwheat.
That was so awful.
Yeah. Good stuff.
That was gross.
I was cheering and clapping when that happened.
Well, he had the best chat-up line of all time. We could die any second. And she said, yeah, go on then. That was all it took.
Yeah, that's like... Boys. Yeah, that should be like the line that gets you laid no matter what. Like,
what isn't that from Airplane? We could die right now. The movie Airplane.
There is literally nothing original in this. There is not one original thought in this show.
No.
Actually, yeah, Gary, I wanted to talk to you about the geography of Hobbits.
Oh my God.
Right.
Okay.
Because as far as I was aware, the furthest east they were ever known to be was the Valley of Anduin. Never went further east than that. They migrated west. They stayed there up until, obviously, the venture to Mordor. How have they ended? Why are we in Rune?
I don't know. I have a map right here. I wish I could pull it up. Rune, really fucking far away from
the furthest thing away.
The furthest thing away you could possibly get to the fucking Shire. And yes, they migrated from the Anduin over the Misty Mountains, and they were gifted the Shire by a king. And the only price was maintain a bridge for me. Maintain a bridge, which they continue to do, even though that after that king was gone, they kept all those rules, but they kind of kept to themselves and nobody knew about them. Yeah, I don't know what they're doing in Rune. I don't know what a Dark Wizard's doing in Rune. I don't know what Dangalf is doing in Rune. What place he's never been in an age he's never been in.
What is Tom Bombadil doing in Rune?
Fuck if I know.
Yeah,
no,
I was gonna say he's way too far east as well.
But if I could, I don't know. It's
I was gonna say, actually, take us all out of the stream. You can see the map of Middle Earth.
Yeah. Also, if I could, this is literally the first sentence in The Hobbit. This is Tolkien describing what a Hobbit hole is like, and it is not nasty, it's not dirty, it's not wet, it's not dry, bare, or sandy. And that seems to be exactly what they did.
Yes.
That's the first line in the book.
But isn't that clever? Right? We're just turning everything on its head.
Nothing matters.
They're Harfoots.
Well,
they're not hobbits.
Correct me if I'm wrong. Is it the Stoors that are near that like rivers?
Yes.
That like river, and there's no rivers.
The stools is
the stools, as I like to call them, the stools.
What? I invented that by accident. All right, stools.
The stools.
It had nothing to do with the color of their skin. It was just a grammatical mistake by myself. I have dyslexia. Sorry.
Yeah.
Also, a shout out to Camilla Harfoot for my favorite line of the show, which was, "This isn't just my house. This is my home," or something along the lines. That's like, deep.
Like,
it's
like, oh my God, I can tell.
No, that's it. She says, "This isn't just where we live. This is our home." It's like, wow, that's almost.
It's like, oh my God, it's almost like one of the fucking 45-year-old women in the writing room have that exact same picture, like that they got from Target on their wall.
They have it on a pillow,
and they're like, "That's a good line. Let's lift it."
Yeah.
My favorite was when she said, "I buried my husband under this tree." We've all got a story like that. It's like, what are you doing to your husbands? They're dropping
under
dead
that tree.
constantly to be buried under this tree.
It's like, he wasn't dead or anything. I just buried him there.
Shut up.
That is going to be the story, though.
Behind. Yeah.
Like, Gandalf, when he was listening to because he's listening to the fire, he'll ignore Tom. He'll go and rescue Nori, and that tree that she's raised since she was a little kid or anything that looks as if it's died, that will be
where he
staff.
gets his stuff.
I just want him to like pull out the entire tree and just like carry it along.
Yeah.
Like, he doesn't break anything off. And he'll ask its permission, obviously, because he'll blood.
But also, like Nori is so retarded that it had to be explained to her the benefits of staying in one place. You can plant a tree in this place and also make a home in this place if you just stay put. She's like thinking about it like it's this big revelation.
In the after show,
wow,
she
the
does
black
say that
female leader of this group is much smarter than the black male leader of our group. You're very wise.
in the after show, she does say that her big revelation is that you don't have to travel around. If you want to find a home, you have to create it for yourself. So that will be her going off telling her people that we have to create the Shire rather than looking for it.
I could never figure that out.
Amazing.
Revelation.
She's got so far to go to tell those people.
She'll be there, like in the finale episode. It'll be fine.
Like, I'd laugh if she could never find him again because they're supposed to be really good at hiding. That she's like,
they move every month. Yeah.
Yeah.
Share that X-ray girl real quick. Since I have this pad. It's like a big pad for my desk, but my monitor's on top of it. But I have the map of Middle Earth. But we have it here. So there's Rune on the right.
Yeah. You can't even see all of it. It's off the map.
It's way off the map. And the Shire is pretty much the opposite end.
The exact opposite side. Yeah.
The opposite side. So I could point to it here, but I can't point. It's up there. It's up on
How long did it take the fucking orc army to get from creating Mordor to a Region?
Oh,
about 5 episodes.
Not long.
It's the only thing of time we've got.
As the Nazgul flies.
Like at least fucking Oregion and Khazad-dûm are like close, right? They're like right next to each other.
Yeah.
Like at least there's that. So when they are like, hey,
relative,
can you go
like,
there real quick?
I think it's
like
50 miles.
50 miles or something, right?
Yeah, 50 miles.
So it's like at least that's a day's horse travel, or maybe a little more than that. But it's not anything insane, right? This is not months passing.
So the Shire is in between the I and the A, right there on the upper left of Eriador.
Yeah.
So that's where the Shire is. That's where Rune is.
It was really funny that in season 1,
from the Anduin to the sea. Sorry.
God, it was really funny in season 1 when was it Celebrimbor and Elrond just kind of take a stroll to Khazad-dûm, no horses, no nothing.
Yeah,
they just it looks like they walked from a Region.
Yeah. They had the same clothes.
And he's like, just go back to a Region. I'll be back in a little while.
Well, yeah, we talked about it. Anatar, Sauron, gets on the high-speed rail and just goes to Khazad-dûm, then comes back a couple of times, gets some mithril. Other things that happen in the episode, we get Disa Nuts. So Disa Nuts has the power to summon bats. So the ring...
Yeah.
Somehow the ringy powers are affecting Durin the Third in a way it's not how the fucking rings work.
They shouldn't know
at all.
At this speed, it feels like he's had him for about 3 days.
Well, it acts like the One Ring. It acts like the One Ring.
He even says, "It's mine. It belongs to me."
Yes, exactly. They lift the line exactly. And it gives him superpowers, and he like punches Durin the Fourth across the room. It's like, holy shit, he gets spider sense.
Like that.
He gets spider sense and superpowers. He knows where to dig. These things are fucking awesome, but that's not how they work. So they're delving too greedily and too deep, guys. I don't know if you caught that at all. It's really subtle in the show. And by the way, this is something that happens over time, right? And last episode we had the Balrog waking up. You know, so it's got 4,000 years to go.
Yeah,
before it actually gets up. But all right, so Disa woke it up. So now Disa and her husband are like, we need to lead a rebellion against Dad because he's delving too greedily and too deep, and we're gonna stop him by summoning bats. Where she looks like she's about to take a giant steamer, and she sings, and dwarves run away from bats.
Yeah, they would never find anything scary down a cave.
No,
they've got an easy life. They wouldn't. Yeah, bats, very scary, very scary.
Bats wouldn't last long anywhere near dwarves because they're associated with evil, by the way, and they would just kill them. Now, as I said before the show, dwarves famous pussies. Like they run from fucking everything.
Yep, absolutely.
Yeah.
Weren't they specifically created to be hardy by one of the gods because they were like, well, all this life will be easily extinguished?
They're
You're making sense. Stop it. No, stop.
Stop. So they run away from fucking bats, dwarves, after all this stupid shit.
And then they say they've got to prepare for when they come back. What's next?
Why didn't they just come back?
Coyotes?
There was no more bats. Just turn around.
They're gonna build a wall. Big, beautiful wall.
Big wall,
That's gonna be-
best
It
wall.
wasn't offensive.
Best
When
walls.
They saw Deezer and they were like, look, we're going to have to move you if we're going to dig in that hole. It's like, you can just go around it. She's not that big.
Quarter Black wanted me to bring this up, and he's absolutely right. I brought it up in my watch party. We did get a little background on Decent Nuts. She was basically abandoned by her father. He went out to get some menthol pipe weed and never came home.
Yeah.
Really, Amazon, you bunch of
That was
bigots. I'm just saying.
yeah.
Of course. So that was the Khazad-dûm scene. And by the Durin the Third says no to Anatar because he thinks he can get a better deal because everything's going to war. So they're going to be mithril dealers basically for the war. Which whatever.
Oh yeah. By the way, did you notice that Durin the Fourth had been told he'd been summoned by Sauron?
Yes.
Who then proceeded to completely ignore him and just do a deal with Durin the Third.
I know.
There was no point for
You
Joran
didn't
to
need
even
to-
be in that scene. He didn't contribute anything to it. It was almost like in Doctor Who if you just invited the companion in just so he had someone to explain to the audience about it.
Yeah, that's exactly what it was. Yeah.
There was no need for it.
Yeah, in the same scene where Durin the Fourth is asking Durin the Third, by the way, there's only one Durin at a time, to take off the ring, right? He's all, no, it's mine, you know. Before that, Sauron mentions precious. He drops the word precious. So, get
Twice in this episode.
Yeah,
Twice? Okay, I
twice.
didn't get it twice.
No, it's twice. Yeah, it's once at the end too. They repeat that as well. They have to make you think of that stuff. But the most, it's not the most. It's up there. It's pretty egregious when we get to Tom Bombadil, Tom Grumadil, and Dan Galf, because apparently Tom Grumadil is now a Maya master, a sensei, and he's going to train Gandalf and how to wield the secret fire. Okay, because the secret fire is the Force now. It's the fucking Force. It's not the Holy Spirit or the power of light or whatever. It's just the fucking Force. So first he has to do is take him to go get his staff. Now
He needs his lightsaber. Yeah.
can we just keep in mind that we're 6 episodes into season 2 and we don't know this character's name yet because they're mystery boxing it and it's fucking retarded.
By the end of the series, they did promise us we'll find his name.
Oh, great.
I do want him to go, somebody fetch me my Gand elf. That's all.
Yeah,
I want.
that's
Please.
'cause that is what they're queuing up. That is what they're queuing up.
I'm going to ruin something for my joke for my video, but like at the pace they're going, by the time Gandalf gets all his stuff, it's going to be the third age anyway. So, I mean, like, I kind of see what they're doing. Maybe by season 5, he'll get his pointy hat, I think they were talking about it on Open Bar. Like, they're going to do a You Shall Not Pass. They're going to repurpose absolutely fucking everything in this series. Mm-hmm. But
they were proud that when Tom Bombadil first appeared, it was 25% of his lines were straight from the movies. And they bragged about that. They thought that was a positive, that we'd taken this much from a property unrelated to this one. It was wild.
And I think everyone should re-experience this. If you haven't experienced it, you should probably experience it. I'm sharing it now. If you wanted to bring it up, it's moving, it's touching, right?
Oh,
This
that's
is
again.
just
No, that's again.
Oh,
Just imagine the fucking stench.
they actually comment on that though.
She actually
She says, "Wait, did you have lizard for dinner?" And
Yeah.
he's just like, "Ooh."
ew.
I think it was
Just
Drinker-
imagine his fucking dirty dick and her smelly ass pussy, like just getting down in some hole somewhere. Ugh.
I think it was Drinker, though, that did point out they've been making Nori more attractive as time goes on. She's been gaining the crap out of her hair. They've been putting more makeup on. And I think this is literally meant to be her evolution from Dirty Harfoot into Hobbit. that will then find
Yeah,
a
they
home
definitely
and be
made
the more, like,
her
refined
better
wife.
looking in this episode.
Well, the actress herself, like when I saw the actress who plays him, like, holy shit.
Yeah,
like,
she's hot for sure.
She's really hot. What did they do to her to make her into Nori?
They Rose Tico'd her. I mean, that's what they did. So this leads.
Come back to season 1 again recently. Like, go back and watch the first episode. It's shocking. The difference.
I think they're doing an inverse evil conversion. So, like, where everyone gets, like, more tired with bags around their... I think they're doing that, but she's actually becoming a civilized person.
Like, they weren't in last episode. They were only in this episode for, like, a couple of minutes, right? This is an hour-long episode. But we lead up to, with Dan Galfin, Tom Grumadil, and he has to pick up his staff. And he says an inversion of the lie that many that live deserve death, some that die deserve life. You can you give it to him, Frodo? Or he's all, can you give it to him? So the context, so it's bad enough that they fucking did that. But let's talk about the context briefly. In the books and the Peter Jackson movie, the context is Frodo wished Bilbo killed Gollum. And Gandalf's like, easy there. Gollum's, and I'm paraphrasing, Gollum's not, he might be irredeemable, but we're not sure. That he's tied to the ring. You don't know
what he's been through.
You don't know. Well, it's a tragic story. Exactly. So,
but also, wasn't the side effect of that if he had taken the ring through violence, he would have immediately fallen?
They followed that up, but that's why the ring didn't have an effect. It took a long time for the ring to affect Bilbo because pity was involved with him taking the ring. That was part of it, right? So, in the context of the show where they use that line, Dan Galf's like, I'm really worried about female Sam and female Frodo. I'm worried about my friends. And then Tom Bombadil responds with, well, many that live deserve life, some deserve death. It's like, fuck you, asshole. He's just worried about his friends.
Now,
Tom Bombadil's watching this exact same show. That's why he doesn't care if the heart.
No, I don't think this is as bad.
It's
as,
Dick Bombadil, by the way. Just that's his brother Dick.
Like in the original, original thing, like you said, he was teaching him without telling him directly the reason why he was teaching in the lesson. And I think they're doing the same in this. It's a test to see whether he would go down the evil path of the wizard, which is if you won't protect your friends. So you can either go and hunt power with the trees, or you can go and save your friends. And he's been having visions from the flame that he should go and save his friends. And he said, you won't get your staff until you follow the flame. So I think the intention is he's supposed to ignore Tom, and Tom is deliberately giving him evil advice that he's meant, like, this is his final test, as he says. So if he takes the path of evil, which Tom's tempting him down, then he'd like completely never have power again, kind of thing. I think that's what they're going for.
Oh, that's.
I have no fucking idea what this show's going for. Whatever it is, it'll be fucking wrong. It'll be wrong, and mixing up the context of that is fucking ridiculous.
The appropriation of the line is just cheap.
Do we want to risk
cultural appropriation?
I got the line here if you wanted to show it, but it's crap.
Oh no! Don't just take it off. Take it off. Don't show it from. No, you can't show it from the source. I tweeted it out. You can do it from a tweet. I wouldn't go directly there. Mm-hmm. You know what I'm saying?
I don't think we need to.
The funniest thing about that, though, is Shad's internet was so bad and so pixelated. I don't think anything would have been.
No.
They had about 9 pixels on the screen.
It'd have been easier to see Gavin McGinnis's penis.
It was like watching the Lego version.
Or Gavin Newsom.
I just found the clip. I'll show it if you want.
We talked about it. It's fine. Amazon's like kind of weird about it. We don't want to lose our chat, do we? We don't want to see if we have to cut that out. I have to lose the chat. Chat's part of the show. So chat, you got it. You can go to Twitter and see it. It's fucking stupid. And it's just a mindless series of events getting to the next thing they can pilfer from Peter Jackson. Like they don't even pilfer the books that much.
Yeah.
Like they pilfer Peter Jackson's Lord of the Rings.
And they've really stepped it up this season. It didn't feel like they stole as much last time. They were like trying to make you think of things with imagery and stuff, but now they're just stealing scripts.
Well, this is what they meant when they said they're being more true to the source material. It's not actually in the events or the authenticity of the characters, everything like that. It's just appropriating random lines from the Jackson trilogy. That's what their view of it is.
A lot of this season does seem like if you've only watched the movies, it would make sense, which is why all the rings act like the One Ring, and they're just literal variations of it. if you completely threw out the books and just watched the movies and tried to make something related to it, that seems to be what they've gone for.
Yeah, it came to me a little slow, and somebody probably came up with this in season 1, but it just hit me a couple of weeks ago. It's like, oh, they did the fucking rings in the order of the poem. Like, that's what they specifically did, which is not how they were made at all. And that is stupid. And again, in the appendices, it specifically states the order. So they could have adapted that. It's a really weird decision. So we'll get to the end. All right. Where Region is now being attacked because the scouts and the lookouts didn't notice all the fucking orcs burning fires for days outside their fucking city. And they were able to get trebuchets up to the river and everything. And then it's like, oh shit, they're here. We better do something now. Oh boy. And they haven't finished the 9 rings for men. So now Celebrimbor is being forced to finish hastily the 9 rings for men while Aregion is being attacked by an Amazon made-up character and not Sauron. So
what could go wrong?
What could go wrong? And Aregion was sacked, and then Sauron got the rings and passed them out to the dwarves and the men. But we're going to have Sauron get attacked, probably take over the army. By the way, this is going to be 2 episodes, they said, of battle.
You know, going off of the battles of season 1, which was so stupid, I'm dreading these next few episodes. Just with they've already shown how bad they are in terms of just understanding battlefield tanks and everything like that by the trebuchets acting like modern day artillery with napalm. And so, yeah, next episode is going to be
the
great.
Entire episode is a battle. They've already said that.
I was going to say, because the thing that confuses me is that the one thing that might get normies on board with the show is gratuitous action, and so far there's not even been any of that.
Nope.
Mm-hmm.
So who is this show for?
That's how it was advertised, though. If you remember,
yeah, yes. It was. No,
the most well-received trailer was one of the last ones they put, where they're like, "Total war comes to Middle Earth," and it was just all combat. It was the only trailer they put out, I think, that didn't get ratioed. And it's because it wasn't anything about the story. There was no Harfoots in it or whatever. And like, that's how they advertise it. You know, we're already at the end of the episode, but we forgot one entire plot line, or maybe I fell asleep while we talked about it. Numenor.
Remind us, Ryan. What is this?
We didn't talk at all about the whole Miriel thing. And Elendil and Numenor.
Sea monster.
Just reminded me of the Acolyte.
They boring and forgettable.
Well, I mean, it's basically as Numenor turns, or as Middle Earth turns, or whatever fuck you want to use for a soap opera. And I'll sum it up. Miriel, the race swap Miriel, who they didn't have forced into marriage with Ar-Pharazôn so he can usurp the throne so it wouldn't rob her of her agency, robs Elendil of his agency. That's pretty much what happens. Immediately. And he cries a couple of times. They say the sea is always right. Then a black woman gets spit out by a white worm. That's it.
The director said that pool scene is one of her most difficult ever scenes to film. And she's in the after show. And it turns out the reason why is she had to wait for the tide to go out. So there wasn't all waves in it. And it was cool. It's like, that's the most difficult thing you've ever done. Like, to just wait. For the ocean to
people.
Oh, yeah.
I promise you, it was as difficult to watch it. Okay, so...
the after the show shit is so bad on this.
You know what? I haven't actually checked out any of the after show stuff
It's
yet.
bad. It is so
it's
cheesy.
Really
fucking Felicia Day. Fuck it. I cannot stand
just
her.
Incompetent
with
people
music.
Is it just incompetent people trying to validate each other and sniff their own farts about how wonderful it is?
We get some bad clips every once in a while. Obviously, very famously, season 7 and 8 of Game of Thrones, the after the show stuff. Like those clips would go everywhere. We see it a couple times. House of the Dragon, it'll be like 1 or 2 things. I said, oh, that's a little weird. This one, it's just like, what the fuck are we watching? It's like they tried to do that and tried to emulate what Game of Thrones does with their after the show shit, and it just flops on its face.
Oh, dude. Well, for one, they keep rotating the same house nerds in Hollywood: Patton Oswalt, Felicia Day, Will Wheaton. I don't know if you ever saw the Ready Room after fucking Star Trek. Oh God, that is some of the worst shit you will ever see. But it's fucking lame, but it's great for clips. It's fantastic for clips. So I hope they keep doing it. I mean, like, we didn't even talk about Agatha all along. What was the most interesting thing about that was the press lead up. Oh no, the press lead up before that, and is this the gayest Star Wars or gayest Marvel we've ever done? Oh.
That guy's voice was.
This is the gayest Marvel project we've ever seen. You agree?
My favorite one was when I can't remember which actress it was. But it was like, so have you seen any of the Marvel movies? No. Are you gonna do? No. Why didn't you do it? Don't care. And it was like all the time. And by the end, he's like,
that sounds like an Aubrey Plaza
say something. And he was like throwing up bones and lifelines. You're like, nah, just can't be bothered.
Fucking Mark Malkin. I want to take the opportunity to apologize once again to Adam B. Very of Variety. I mixed up gay people who work at Variety and said it was him on the red carpet instead of Mark Malkin. It's Mark Malkin on the red carpet. So.
Well, that's pretty easy to do. It's only gay people who work for Variety. So
yeah, exactly. Yeah. So
which is an entity owned by the same company that owns Rolling Stone, Deadline, and The Hollywood Reporter. That's why you don't get any variety out of any of these Access Media rags. So I'm gonna get myself.
They got to hit their deadlines, Gary. They're Hollywood reporters, after all.
Yeah. Oh my God. I was waiting for the first person to say, no, it ain't fucking gay.
Like,
what are you fucking talking about?
Not my part. What do you mean? And, it is pushed by the media, right? One guy was the one asking everyone this same fucking question. But the reason that that's being put out there is because of the press circuit that they did before. And I think it was Joe Locke who said that. I think it was him in one of his interviews because he very much made it all about him being gay. He shat all over Marvel fans who said they're just jealous. That's why I'm getting so much backlash. They just wish they could be me because I'm doing what they never could do. Like stuff like that.
Be a gay character in a fucking shitty D+ show that nobody's gonna watch? Sorry, kid.
Mary, that takes bravery.
It does.
But that's interesting with him because it was him, the Agatha actress, and the showrunner who were the three that kind of played it down. Because even he said, "Well, it's not all gay. That's one aspect of my character, but it just happens to be true."
It's because he's been getting he generated a lot of bad press for them over the past couple weeks.
Well, saying Marvel's not just for straight white men. Well, I mean, it mostly is straight men. We'll say straight men.
I have a video from 2 weeks ago.
Not just white men.
I have a video from 2 weeks ago titled something like Marvel or Agatha All Along actors claim this is the gayest Marvel show ever. And it came from that fucking Joe Locke interview. Like, that's why this is out there. This wasn't just pushed upon them by the media. It's because of what they said in the press junket results.
Do they have any statistics that they're actually attracting more gays or more people of color?
They have a real statistic. Okay, let's go with the parent company. They have a statistic. The Acolyte was canceled. And that was absolutely Disney Star Wars in its final form. It's intersectional feminist and it's super gay. And it was canceled.
Well,
I bet there's numbers you could fucking work. You could spin some numbers. They're like, look, there's a higher percentage of gay people watching than ever. What they leave out is its lower number of people.
Yeah.
It's because all the straight people turned it off.
Yeah. Now,
they also point to the Zoomer stats, which are supposed to be going up, and there's like something like 40% answered yes and stuff. You're like, there's no way that's true. But those are the numbers you keep seeing going around.
If Agatha, I haven't seen. I've looked up. I haven't seen a budget. I'm gonna guess 100 million to make this series.
100 million.
80 to 100 million
minimum.
If you made this series for 10 million, makes sense. Absolutely makes sense for that demographic. It'll probably, gain you enough niche audience to make sense. 100 million, 80 million, you're losing fucking money on this. And they know it. That's why Catherine Hahn, she may or may not have been joking. She said, "Oh, we're definitely not getting a season 2." And I can promise you, they're definitely not getting a season 2. They're definitely not.
When I retweeted that, I had loads of people in the comments going, "Well, that's because it's a limited series." It's like, are you really telling me that if it was suddenly a smash hit, they wouldn't make a season 2? Is that what you're arguing?
It wasn't supposed to be that limited.
Yeah.
Squid Game was a one-off until it really became one of the biggest series ever, and they're like, "Okay, we'll do season 2." Joker was a one-off. They weren't going to make a Joker sequel, remember? So yeah.
It all depends on the show, like Secret Invasion, right? There's no way. Like, with the way that show progressed, it was literally like a lead into the Marvels. So like, so I don't like that one. Would anyone be surprised when there's not a season 2? Not really, because of the way the show itself was structured. We'll have to see how all of this plays out and if it's supposed to lead into some sort of fucking movie event or not.
I'm guessing it won't. You can put that clip up, X-Ray Girl. We might as well hear it again. There he is.
Wow, so
who is this guy?
She hasn't done anything since she left SNL.
She became a late in life lesbian.
Yeah,
really.
Her reason
I don't even know who the fuck that is. Who is it?
So Shears and I, she was on SNL briefly a couple years ago.
Oh, I haven't watched SNL in a decade, so go on.
She said that she kept getting cast in gay roles, and so she thought, do these casting directors know something I don't? And so switched.
Well,
that was legitimately her reason.
That was a lot of actors in Hollywood over the last few years. All of a sudden, it's like, I'm non-binary. I'm asexual. That's the weakest one. I'm bisexual, even though... remember Tilly from fucking Star Trek Discovery came out as queer, even though she's got 2 kids and has been married for years. You could hit play.
It's been described to me that Agatha is the gayest project Marvel has ever done. Agree?
I would agree with that. Yeah.
Why is it?
You'll see. You'll see when you watch it. But, I think witches are queer inherently just because we are outcast and set aside for many reasons. And I think this show shows a really good representation of different types of people, and that we can all use the power we have within to go forth and be great.
It's been described.
As far as I know,
I got every word of that.
To be fair, that answer was pretty gay.
The only saying which comes from go forth is go forth and multiply. I've never heard it used in any other kind of sense.
No, because that didn't make sense. But I mean, to be fair to the actors, being what the fuck are you gonna say when you're asked? Yeah. Like, what the fuck are you gonna say? Sure. But I have a theory, Ryan. It could be completely wrong, but I'm a little conspiratorial once in a while. I think this is a direct response from the Access media to the treatment of the Acolyte. I think they're fucking pissed about it. This is another Disney product. They were saying the same thing prior to the Acolyte, and I think this guy was leaning in a little bit and maybe doing a little like his attempt at trolling. I absolutely think that might be some impetus behind it, some inspiration. Because they pay attention.
I say good on him because it backfired massively.
Oh, God.
On the Acolyte.
Dude, I wouldn't have an Agatha all along video if it wasn't for these fucking clips beforehand, okay? So thank you.
When they said Acolyte was the gayest Star Wars ever, all of us were like, yeah, we agree. It really is. No argument.
I think this is going to be way more gay than the Acolyte. Like,
yes.
Bounds, by the end, I think it's going to be leaps and bounds gayer than the Acolyte.
I don't think it's going to be as bad in an entertaining way. To explain myself, the Acolyte was unintentionally hilarious. I was laughing through almost every episode. I was like, oh, God, look at this. Put this on Twitter. It's more memeable. I could be wrong about this, but it was laughably bad and lore destroying all at the same time, to where Rings of Power... Like, you can meme it, but you'd have to explain to a lot of people who don't understand the lore. Like, Rings of Power rapes the lore worse than the Acolyte could ever dream of, okay? But most people are not going to know, and that's fine. I think this will just be memeable, but, like, as far as overall damage to the MCU, the only damage it does is being released. And thankfully, the amount of, like, the percentage of people who watch Deadpool and Wolverine who are going to watch Agatha all along is probably, 1%, 2%? Like, it's going to be minute.
It's a spin-off of a show that had people interested initially, and then interest fell off towards the end as the show got worse and they actually revealed who Agatha was. So it's like, it's such a small audience to begin with of people who would have any interest in the show. Well. It wasn't 3 years after the fact. Yeah, exactly. So
yeah.
This was me. I did want to show this. This is when I'm sorry to Adam B. Very. Thank you to Danky for editing in the fix here. This is on G&G Daily the other day. I would be like, hey, it's the gayest thing ever. It was it Adam Very? Is that guy's name for
the Variety reporter?
Like,
he's the same
I've heard just through the grapevine that this is set to be the gayest Marvel show ever. Jesus, holy fuck, dude! You're getting monkeypox just walking by Adam. I speak for the. So I was kind of brutal. So I had to get another correction there.
Very professional correction.
Right.
Jeremy looks as if he's about to tell you to never do that again in your entire life. It was like, listen to me, right?
He did. He said, "I don't ever want to hear that again." And I said, as long as it gets clipped by Danky, like showing that I was making fun of that guy, it's okay. So.
Well, at least you're not like talking about well-known UK phrases multiple times, that like as did in the real BBC. It's like, what the fuck are you doing, dude? He's all what? It's a British phrase. I'm all. It's a phrase everywhere, motherfucker. There's lots of phrases you don't say. Yeah. The hag statement he made multiple times. I'm like, Jesus Christ, dude. It was funny.
I'm surprised you can say that on YouTube.
Well, apparently. Yeah, I don't know if it's monetized. It was on his channel, so fucking fuck him.
It's like when people go, the British cigarette, and then say it like it's not just a bot which goes through, see the word, and doesn't care.
I know, and like understands the accent of or something like that, or the context. Although I do think...
The time I'll get banned is because I just say some normal British words that it turns out Americans despise. That's what it's gonna be.
Not all. Hashtag not all, Disparu. Some of us like them. Some of us like them a lot. And Chrissy, we're talking about the term that rhymes with hag. So that's...
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Bag.
Yeah, we were talking...
Baguettes.
Yeah, baguette. We were talking about the kind of women who would want to watch Agatha all along. I mean, he's not wrong, but, he's out of line. Yeah. But he's not wrong. So there you go. Let's talk about...
used to be one.
But watch The Penguin. Don't watch fucking Agatha all along or Rings of Power. Watch the first episode of The Penguin. I can't promise what's going to happen in the rest of the series. But honestly, if we want to talk about beginning to end enjoyment, it's better made than The Batman.
You mean one episode?
One episode. But if talking about like being entertained from beginning to the end, I like the whole episode.
So what's better? Is it, let's see, the first episode of Penguin or the first 15 minutes of The Batman?
Ooh, first 15 minutes of The Batman's pretty good.
That's equivalent to what we're talking about.
Sure. But like, and it depends on what promise is delivered. So the first 15 minutes of The Batman was a promise that was not delivered by the end of the movie. Period.
I still just rewatch that first 20 minutes.
God, it's good. Oh, dude, it's
some of the best.
The voiceover, the fucking music. I'm like, this is it. This is what they needed to do. I mean, I don't like fucking Robert Pattinson, but fuck, this is like, I love that soundtrack. I own the
look
soundtrack.
and feel of Gotham was good too.
Yeah, it was like, this is it. Like the voiceover.
The monologue of him like just talking about how he's inspired fear in the criminal population of Gotham, that he can't be everywhere, but people are so fucking scared of him now that it feels like he's everywhere.
They get spooked when they see the light. It's like, yes, that's it. Let's go. And then it's like incel with 500 followers blows up fucking seawall.
Guys.
Hey, please like, share, and subscribe. We're gonna blow up the seawall. Okay.
Remember all the hype that they were saying, oh, Pattinson's not working out for this one. He's not going to get jacked. And then
he was trolling.
Great.
He trolled.
That was all such bullshit that got completely hyperbole. Because they were asking him, hey, you've been staying in shape. He's like, nah, they tell me to work out. I say, fuck it. You know, I feel too tired today.
Dude, he's a little bit like Heath Ledger. He just kind of
fucking dry, sarcastic British.
Yeah,
person.
yeah. Like he trolls, and he also considers himself a serious actor, and probably wants to get as far away as from fucking Twilight as possible. And I don't blame him. But damn it,
actually, he hated the role at the end.
Hey, but he was a good Cedric Diggory. Okay, he was a good Cedric Diggory. So
he's
props.
actually a decent acter. I mean,
yeah, he is. I want to see Mickey 17, even though fucking retard Mark Ruffalo's in it, but it looks.
He'll die.
If he dies a horrible death, I am in on that movie.
Best movie ever.
Best movie ever. Okay, so let's talk about a good movie that some of us saw real quick. It's a mockumentary. It's called "Am I Racist?" Now.
You're about to say I am a racist.
To answer the question,
that's the sequel featuring Ryan Kinnell. I am racist.
So one of the reasons that when it's easy to mix up because it's just those two words, and we're all dyslexic as we established earlier today.
Yeah, and racist.
But also, but also one of the things that constantly gets pushed again and again are all these white people admitting I am racist, and that's like part of the journey that you have to do in this white guilt.
Yes,
that's part of the putting in the work, and this is much more about instead of just making fun of some of this shit. This is much more about how insidious it is, and the people that are making a living off making white people feel racist all the time, and how easy it was for Matt Walsh to actually start a business of his own and like put on workshops and get interviewed on these, you know, local news stations and shit like that for his fake company that he set up.
Quick aside, because I was thinking about the Stars and Bars bar, you know, with the stars and bars in it. I was at the gym this morning and I'm watching First Take, and they were doing some thing. They were doing something for a college campus, and it's multicultural. And they were, you know, Stephen A. Smith was there, and they were panning across the crowd, and they had all these First Take signs, and it's like 10 people, and there was some student went behind him and threw up the Stars and Bars on fucking ESPN. I started
at Howard University or something.
Yeah, I started laughing my ass.
Isn't Howard like a historically black college or whatever?
Yeah.
Oh my God. So and I don't know who it was, but I almost dropped the weights on my fucking chest, bro. I was like, holy shit. I digress. Now let's back to am I racist?
Am I racist?
It was so funny.
The subtlety was the best part. Like Matt Walsh, not gonna listen to him on anime or gaming, although I do think he's semi-trolling on some of that stuff too. But but he did a masterful job in this movie. Like absolutely. And when They sent me a screener. It's like one of two things. Well, it's the only official organization to ever send me a screener. The other one I got was not official for Picard season 3. I was definitely not supposed to have it, but I was. But I got it, so fuck them. But I didn't watch it until later in the week, until the movie was out. And like I was gonna do a review of some kind on it. But then I was like, I don't know if I'm going to put it on the main channel or daily. I was probably kind of leaning towards daily because it's not a nerd thing or anything. But then when I saw Jeremy Johns getting all that fucking shit, I'm like, I'm definitely putting it on the main channel. Fuck this shit. We're doing it. I'm glad I did. Jeremy Johns just does a 4-minute reaction to a movie doing his fucking job, right? Doesn't really lean into politics at all. Just said, it made me laugh and I liked it. And he understood the subtlety of it. And I thought he did a good review, which is blowing up. And he basically shook his tree a little bit. Little saying over here on YouTube, shaking the tree. He lost a couple thousand subs, but then he regained thousands after
it
that.
Also is when you have, here's the thing, when you have that many subscribers, he could have been at 1.9801 or whatever, and if he had lost say 50 or 100, it would have showed that he lost 10,000, because the higher number you go, the fewer like digits actually appear publicly. So because he's at 2 million now, so it's going to show on Social Blade every 10,000. It's not a real-time count, hasn't been for years. So it was, I figured he'd get the subscriber and because it showed his credibility. Like he is one of the mainstream critics, and yes, he's a mainstream critic who just reviews TV and movies, and he does it well. He doesn't really get in the spoilers, and he's a likable guy. And the Jeremy Johns I met in real life was just like the one you see in the video, just super energetic and nice. So it was great to see him bounce back like quickly from all the bullshit he was getting, because fuck those people.
Gary, really sorry, dude. If I could just interrupt for just 2 seconds.
Sure.
I've had a mild emergency call.
Go.
Yeah, if that's all right. Like, I just want to say big thank you for having me. But yeah, I'm really sorry. I'm just gonna have to shoot off. I'm really sorry.
So hey, thanks for coming on. We appreciate you, man.
Hope
everything's okay.
Hopefully.
Yeah.
Okay. All right.
Bye, Johnny.
You guys.
Bye, Johnny. Johnny. That's happened to me before. Thank you for coming on, Johnny. Go subscribe to his channel. It's good, like really good Rings of Power content, and he's pretty fucking funny. So that's
recommend his
important.
Valma reviews from years
yes,
ago. They are very funny.
Very good. So please give him a sub. He will be back. I really like the movie. I laughed all the way through it. I love the subtlety. My favorite scene is not the one that's being passed around, with the producer being paid reparations, but Robin DiAngelo, this fucking race hustler. And Ryan's right. This is just an expose of race hustlers, mostly white women.
Humiliate her.
Dude,
so badly. It's so good.
When he asks her about mansplaining and she starts explaining mansplain and then he interrupts her and mansplains her about mansplaining was my favorite. I almost I fell out of my chair laughing.
She didn't even say like, hey, you actually just mansplained
she
right
didn't
there.
even catch it.
Perfect.
And according to paid $15,000 for that interview, so hey, I'd let you mansplain.
Hey,
she
was being middle ground there, okay? Because it was 10 to 20, and she's like, I'll take that middle ground.
They point out exactly how much money each person charges for their services. The most you would think that Robin DiAngelo would be the most expensive interview that the movie had. No, it was the woman. It was the mother of the two girls that were supposedly snubbed by the mascot. What was it, Disney World or Universal or something, or Sesame
Yeah, it was
Place?
a Sesame Street character. Yeah,
and which was, I'm sure it was accidental, and not, but it blew up to be this whole, they were snubbed because they were black or whatever, and this woman charged $50,000 to be on camera and speak about it,
and she barely said anything.
Hey, did you ever find out? Did you ever find out who did it? They're like, no.
Yeah.
So do you know if the person that was in that suit was white?
Yeah.
No. I had no fucking idea. No fucking idea who was in there. No idea why the mascot happened to not greet every single fucking person that was out there. And then them playing the thing of like the black lawyer up there, just asking for millions of dollars, 50 grand for this dumb bitch to come there and not say anything that was relevant at all. It's wild.
When really,
$30,000 for Robin, was it 30 or 15 for Robin?
I think 15
yeah.
for Robin.
How much was it for that PhD? Like that, because honestly, it wasn't even the amount of money that they gave to her. The one who made the stink because there were people in the cultural safe space that
with
had like a
pro
Trump
police
shirt on, and
that was like
freaked out.
$3,000 to her.
Yeah.
She is an idiot. She is a fucking retard.
Yes.
She doesn't she can't pronounce words right. She doesn't know what words actually mean, and somehow she's got a PhD.
Yeah, I can't believe she's been to college.
Yep.
Holy.
That was the best part is showing how much money everybody was making and showing how easy it was. He just goes on to like DEI.com, and even at some point a couple people read his card like, oh, you got this from DEI.com. Like it's the most
Ryan, you should go to DEI.com. I'll pay for it.
And then now he's an expert and he can run seminars and make his own thousands of dollars. And then
walk around being like, hi, I'm a DEI expert.
That was so funny when he's like flashing his card to everybody.
At the end, he does a workshop called Do the Work Workshop. And then the last scene is like, and Matt has actually tweeted about this. He's like, at the end there, he has a big box of whips that he's handing out to everybody because
self-flagellation. That was like the last step.
The slides is self-flagellation. People are actually taking the whips, and I was like, these people are gonna whip themselves. And then he finally, cuts the scene. He's like, we're not gonna make you do that. They roll out his Uncle Frank, and then Matt Walsh is like,
dude.
Frank, you're racist. That Mexican joke you told that Thanksgiving was not funny. And he was like, what's the difference between a picnic table and a Mexican? A picnic table can feed a family or
support a family of five.
And then Matt actually tweeted about this. He said the most shocking part of the movie was when the people in the workshop turned on Uncle Frank, like this one trans looking like blob. She was like, can I see something? Fuck you. And then somebody else goes, fuck you. Like people are dogpiling on this random guy that they don't know.
White dude in a wheelchair who literally has not said a word just based off Matt Walsh's
the fact
that he said in Mexican.
Then he walks away. Then he reels him away.
And he's like, all right.
And it says, I'll see you
over the weekend.
No, give it up. Yeah, I know. And Uncle Frank doesn't break character, doesn't fucking smile or anything. It's like really good. Like that was
Matt Walsh
that was his actual uncle.
Matt Walsh does. Yes.
One time he was like
when those people are fucking screaming at Uncle Frank, fuck you. Like he is like looking down. He is fucking trying so hard not to laugh.
It's like the one time he breaks character the whole movie, but it's fantastic.
No, when he reenacts the Jesse Smollett fucking attack.
Yeah. It makes you realize, like, why would they just be carrying around bleach? What? That makes no sense at all.
It's like, wait, what do you mean they're kicking him in the back while he's standing? That seems weird.
Yeah.
The whole thing looks so awkward because they're playing Jesse Smollett's interview where he describes what happened, and it's so
Who's the NASCAR driver who fucking with the stupid loop on the garage door?
Bubba Wallace.
Bubba Wall. What a piece of shit that is, man. Jesus Christ.
And Matt, I did not expect Matt to be as funny in this. He's like a decent comedic actor. I wouldn't say he's a comedian, but like he was funnier than I expected.
He's done it before. There was I think it was a dancing TV series had another Matt Walsh on, and people kept messaging him saying, "Is it you?" And so he did this whole sketch where he was getting dancing lessons, and he just played it exactly the same, all deadpan, taking it exactly seriously, confused why everyone else is confused. That was really good.
Yeah.
Well, okay, he does deadpan great because I think it's a little easy for him. I don't know if you watched the Joe Rogan interview. Like
I don't think I was not expecting when I tuned into that to hear Joe Rogan talk for an hour about why we didn't actually land on the moon. But that's what it was.
I love Joe. He's a little retarded about that. We landed on the moon. Okay. Now
did we know?
Don't even go there. Don't even fucking go there. I'll do an entire Forbidden Frontier. Do I think that some of the footage might be bullshit? Sure. Yeah, I'm open to that. But we landed there. You go get a high-powered telescope, and you're going to see a fucking flag on the fucking moon. You're going to be able to see.
Why hasn't anyone done it yet, Gary?
I fucking hate when people talking about.
Well, the question is, why haven't we gone back?
Radiation field. What's that radiation field
Lost the
called in
technology.
space, Gary?
The Ryan Allen belts or the
Van
Allen belt. Yeah.
Like, just because there's high levels of radiation doesn't necessarily mean that it would be harmful to you, depending on what you're surrounded by, right?
Yes. And what you're protected by.
Alpha particles, right? Very high energy. If you get alpha particles like inside your body, it will really fuck you up. But guess what? Alpha particles can't even penetrate like a layer of skin. Beta particles, super high energy particles, guess what? They can be blocked by
generally in
clothing or a very thin layer of aluminum foil, right? So there's different types of radiation that, depending on what you're surrounded by, you can actually provide a lot of protection for that with things you wouldn't normally do.
Yeah, I think one of the arguments was how would the radiation affect the cameras, right? And I don't know the answer to that one. But we went there. Again, the biggest question is, why haven't we gone back? Obviously, the fucking alien bases. Duh. Okay.
Well, it's just not profitable. The reason why we're going into space so much now is because SpaceX can keep shoving satellites up there and charge for them, or they can be military purposes. The reason why the entire space race existed in the first place is because of the Cold War, and it showed your missile technology. So there was a military reason to prove that you could go further than anyone else. Well, but if you're just after money, well, there's nothing on the moon.
Well, it's government incompetence mostly because fucking SpaceX embarrasses them on a daily fucking basis at this point. They can get their astronauts home.
Didn't the SpaceX have to go rescue somebody?
They haven't done it yet, right?
And like the whole, when he was talking about, oh, look at, we have so many fucking valuable resources on the moon that could change like the energy dynamic. Yeah, you know what? Maybe it could change the entire energy production status quo of the United States and of the entire world. Maybe there's a lot of people that currently run that wouldn't want that. Looks like that's why we haven't fucking shifted to something like nuclear power, because of all the
petrodollar. Yeah.
Come on.
It would destroy every economy.
For someone like Joe Rogan to not be able to talk himself to realizing that maybe that's a reason why we haven't done that. That was kind of
I love Joe Rogan, but like smoking pot every day is not good for you. Okay. Waking and bacon's not good for you.
It was fun to listen to.
But I love Joe Rogan. All right. So am I racist? Definite recommend. Highest recommend. The person I talked to at Daily Wire said they're hoping to get it international, because I did mention to her, I'm like, everybody's asking internationally if this is going to be distributed in some way, so in theaters, so they can see it. So I hope they can.
It's increased, I think, according to the numbers. I think it's getting into 60 or so more screens this weekend. So it's going to be about still over 1,500 screens. So if it wasn't available near you, it might be available this weekend. And every time that Matt Walsh has been asked about this, as far as like when's it coming on Daily Wire, he's been very kind of standoffish. And so I think it's because, as you mentioned, they're trying to get it international. But also, I would be surprised if they try to put it on VOD and then try to get it international that way.
What does
the
VOD
thing is
mean?
with the international stuff is
on
this
demand.
kind of ideology has spread, but it's largely spread to English-speaking countries because that's the easy. Like all the language is already set up for it, and it's difficult to get through a language barrier that has a different culture to try and find the same pressure points. So it's slowed down. But I think it would have been a good idea if it was possible. You know, like I don't know the expense or whatever, but to have at least on the English countries.
Yeah, yeah, for sure. For sure, and hopefully you'll be able to see it internationally because it's funny. It's the best comedy of the year. I think Chris Gore said this. Correct me if I'm wrong, Frank. That it's already the highest grossing documentary of the year. It's already hit the top 50 documentaries according to Matt Walsh. So people are going to see it. They're having a good time. I think it was Baggage Claim said she saw it in San Francisco. And a smaller theater, I think I know which one, and it was packed and people were laughing. So hail Baggage Claim, by the way, give her a sub. She's freaking amazing. She's a great channel. Right. She has a great channel.
Have you seen all the tweets from people that work in cinemas that were really annoyed? People were like, well, I gave them the ticket, but I showed them that I wasn't happy doing it. So they were like really virtue
I'm sure a lot of
them the ticket.
They have to be so triggered that they've had to look at Matt Walsh's face with that stupid wig for the past couple of weeks up there.
And it finally has a Rotten Tomatoes score, right? So
after 2 negative reviews get added on, they finally
including one from Jesse Gender, the Star Trek reviewer. Yeah,
oh, thank you. That video got recommended to me today.
Let's see here. There you go, X-Ray Girl. It's holding up at 98% audience score, 80% with 10 reviews. Now, Chris Gore pointed out that Attack of the Doc, which is fucking fantastic. You need to watch it if you haven't. It's a celebration of nerddom, and he did it. That's his magnum opus, man. It's so fucking good. And it's not because we have a cameo in it later on. But no, its positive review count was triggered by fewer reviews than Am I Racist? So they were definitely keeping it off. And I think the Daily Wire was smart. I actually, if they'd have stayed off it and not put it up, I think it would have been better. But I love the certified gray ads they were putting out. That was like a really smart idea. But yeah, Tyler Smith and Jesse Gender, again, the person who loves Star Trek Discovery, didn't like it. But Alan Ing's there, Ing the Merciless, our good buddy Christian Toto, and Jeremy Johns. It made me laugh.
yeah, that was his review.
What do you have to do to be a tomato person?
That's a good question. I think
it's got to be some application.
Application process.
You probably have to have some small, at least minimum detectable level of brain damage, but I don't know.
I wonder if
there is YouTube channels with like under 2,000 subs and stuff, which are on there.
So should we all apply to see if they accept us?
Yes.
Let's do it.
Would be interesting.
Let's do it. Let's fucking do it.
Couldn't we all qualify technically? Like
what about if I submit a picture of me as Grace and see if they'll?
Yes, I would. And that should be your profile picture on it. That was so good. Yeah, let's see how we can do that. Chris, maybe Alan can tell me how he did it. Yeah. Well, Alan's just gonna go Asian, duh.
He's gonna say film threat.
Yeah, no film threat.
I think it's publications that maybe get it, isn't it?
There's YouTubers like Grace.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Oh, here's the criteria. I'll send it.
There's a few which are YouTube only because the link under there which says show the full review goes directly to their channel, so they don't have a site or anything.
Yep. Hey, if we get accepted for press at Comic-Con, like why the fuck not? Let's try it. Let's go. Let's go.
You have to have insight, quality, dedication, audience.
Oh, that counts us out.
We can apply
okay, here we go.
2025 though.
We would I think we would qualify. Consistent review output, a minimum of 2 years, demonstrated film TV review coverage at a publication outside of self-published website. Oops.
Well, I'm not a self-published website on YouTube. That's Google. That'd be
Broadcast,
Google.
a regular appearance providing reviews on a major and or well-regarded local, national, international TV or radio outlet. Consistent review output, minimum of 2 years. Minimum of 30K subs.
Well, they break that. I'm sure I've seen channels with way below that.
Well, that's for white people, Disparu, obviously.
True.
Oh, maybe. Maybe we could do it.
No, when
different bar, they've got a different bar for minority.
No, when Ryan's girlfriend Brie Larson went out there and said there needs to be more diversity within reviewers, they actually made an effort. Rotten Tomatoes, that was right around the time they changed the parameters for the movie and changed the parameters for people of color. Yes,
that's right. You end up with like Black Girl Nerds as like Rotten Tomatoes critics or something.
Was that the one? I was with Jeremy Johns and Chris.
I had to retract that, by the way.
And I think Chris has talked to her a couple of times, but she was standing next to me at CinemaCon, and it's the only time I've actually like in real life over the YouTube thing got the stink eye, like for sure. I was like,
did not like me including.
She does not like me, and then I found out who she was. I'm like, oh, I understand now. Okay, it's cool.
You remember that fucking bald-headed bitch that came at me over my Avatar video?
Yeah.
Who had like no subscribers but had like an interview with Will Smith on her channel? I forget what that.
There's a lot of channels like that I've seen. So like 200 subs and stuff, and they're like major celebrities on there. Wild.
My name out your motherfucking mouth.
Go see Am I Racist? Go watch The Penguin. Agatha All Along sucks. Rings of Power sucks. Not looking good for Joker 2, by the way. It's not looking good.
With its budget, it's not looking good.
No.
Like, that's the problem.
But corporate critics weren't like in love with the Joker. Remember, prior to its release, there was a lot of this is going to create incel violence and all this shit. And I wonder if this is kind of a response to that. I don't know. We'll see. I'm going to watch it. Lady Gaga.
I hope it's good. I actually think Lady Gaga's okay. And
she's a good actress.
Like,
she's a good actress.
Roles that I've seen her in before. I don't have any issues with her, like from that perspective. So I don't hate the idea in principle. I just
Star is Born's a good movie.
Yeah, it is.
Look good. It's a good movie. Let's get
a little shallow at times, but thank you.
I watched it. Okay.
At least the girls got it.
It's like the fourth remake of that movie, and like pretty much all the versions are good, by the way. So there's one with Barbra Streisand and Chris Christopherson from back in the 70s. I was alive back then. I was like my mid 100s. Master Austin has gifted 10 Nerdrotic memberships for 50. Hail. Thank you, sir. Oh, Roland the Wretched is here. He of the waxed smooth balls. Roland the Wretched, 4 parts for $100. Thank you, Roland. Feeling pretty good about yourself now that you're not blocked by a dead man who's been messaging me throughout this entire show, by the way.
Is he still talking about Batman?
No, the last message was, come on and I'll say it, which was in reference to his well-known British term, or let me on, I'll say it. I said, you can't, you're dead, bitch. The mask was taken off this week. The people behind the Bob Iger Company's curtain are none other than Geyrotic and D-Gay Cobra. That's right. I completely forgot that we were accused of that's who Disney is now pandering to us. Disney is now pandering to us. I had a list of I know, right? It was not their it was their not so secret gay agenda that gave us Acolyte and Agatha. Not surprised, who else was Agatha made for if not Jeremy? A homosexual man, by the way. I added that myself. I'm surprised Ryan didn't make it into the gay Illuminati. Well, it's because they lifted an old picture from Reddit from like fucking 4 or 5 years ago. Ryan.
Yeah, that's very, just look at a couple of those fucking YouTube channels. That's very outdated.
Yeah, extremely. Ryan apparently needs to start wearing pre-cut jeans and Crocs and eventually get his membership. Does Shad actually like the Twilight movies / books? Yes, he does.
Yeah.
So you like the books and the movies?
I've read the books and seen the movies. Enjoy them all.
When are we doing our fucking big discussion stream, Gary?
That's going to be around
a Nerdrotic live event.
Yeah, it's going to be around Christmas. So
It's going to be
Christmas.
great.
It's gonna be a Christmas present for everybody.
Yeah.
I can't wait.
It's better than watching fucking gay black Doctor Who holiday special.
You might be right. I'm not going to argue with you completely on that. But there is a Doctor Who Christmas special coming up, and I might make you watch it just for saying that.
Listen, you fucking made me watch the Jodie Whittaker one with all those trash cans rolling around and shit, and everybody seemed gay.
They are.
I would have rather watched The New
Daleks.
Moon than watch that, to be honest.
Oh yeah, he's far worse than Jodie. He does actually make Jodie.
Yeah.
Like
it makes you
could put
forget
up with
about
it.
Jodie. It makes you forget about Jodie, and it makes you really believe in the term "things can always get worse," for sure.
Oh yeah.
If he does, he just became gayer than Jeremy. He's always been gayer than Jeremy, Roland. Speaking of Shad,
I'm married and have 5 children, and so it just slides off my back. Like, it doesn't work. You can't make it.
Slides off my back like men.
You know, you can try. It's not going to stick. I'm
That's
sorry.
okay if you can't see it.
I'm a Mormon. It doesn't work. It just does not work.
You got to think about this crazy next time you use that defense.
Yeah, think about it.
Yeah, you can't call me gay. It just rolls right off my back. It slides on down.
Down and in.
Slides
no
down the
worse than
crack.
saying I like Twilight.
Speaking of Shad, the benevolent emus are once again offering a wing of friendship. With Australian government about to destroy freedom of speech, I bet the emus are looking pretty good right now. Just swear allegiance to the emus and they will protect you. I told you I was on the right side of history with that one, Shad.
I mean, it's getting bad, though. Like,
The emus knew what was up, like way early on. They were, these fuckers are going to create COVID concentration camps and get rid of free speech in Australia.
I mean, the current bill the Labor government is trying to push through, I've done a video on it, is apocalyptically bad. It's dark times.
Yeah, and it's kind of going through in the UK. They tried,
except ours isn't a new bill. It's kind of old law, which they're just reinterpreting in the widest way possible.
The only way you fight this, I was saying this during the COVID lockdowns, and people didn't do it, but it would have worked if everybody, and I mean, if most everybody just said, "Fuck you, I'm going to work." There's nothing they could have done about it. Absolutely zero. Too many people. They couldn't have policed everything. They govern by fear. The Gavin Newsom bill, you respond to that by memeing the fuck out of Gavin Newsom with AI every fucking day. Every fucking post he puts up, every fucking second. There's nothing they can do about it. What are they going to do?
Well, this Australian bill is particularly dirty in the sense that it's actually trying to strong arm the social media companies to institute misinformation codes themselves that then they must police and enforce. The actual social media companies have to enforce themselves. And if they don't, the Australian government will get fined. Will find those platforms to I think in one instance it might even be up to 2% of their.
You know what the irony is, and I'm not for this, but you know what the irony is? There'll be very vague rules that punish the social media companies that have very vague rules that punish the creators on their platform. That's the fucking irony. I said this years ago, by the way. You know who's going to fuck social media? The state. They're going to start taxing. California will find a way to fucking tax. They did. They already tried gig workers. They're trying to find a way to tax gig workers more. And in some places they've already done that. They will do it. I promise you. Sorry, go on.
But that's how they've always done things. It's the same thing with the speech stuff. Like if you notice, there's words that some people can say. There's words that other people can't say. Like, well, am I allowed to? Am I not? Can I say it here? Can I not say it here? In the UK, there's even rules for you can't say things online, but you could say them in real life. And everything's so vague. They make laws which every single person breaks, and then they just decide when the landmines
arbitrarily
go off. And it goes
what
off
to
for
do.
some people and not others.
Yep.
So if you become a problem, then we just have all these laws that you've already broken because everybody has, and we only call you on it then. Yeah.
Well, see, this is why it's so dirty, because if it was the actual government itself censoring people might be able to take them to court for misapplying it and applying it unfairly. Like, you're giving these people a free pass while you're talking about it. By forcing the social media companies, that washes their hands of any of the responsibility.
Yeah, and I don't know how your system works. Like Gavin Newsom can do something in California, Supreme Court will knock it down. Like, well, there's a bunch of gun bans they've tried in cities and states that always get knocked down.
I hope it will get knocked down. It still needs to go through. There's a
Might
chance.
get up again.
Well, there you go. There's a chance it could get. There's a chance that it could get through, and people might say, well, the social media companies will just say, "Screw Australia." Well, it's not just Australia trying to do this. There's actually a group effort from multiple sources trying to force
this is
social media companies.
Klaus Schwab's globalism trying to institute it across the fucking world, and that's why you got to. And the thing is, what people don't understand, and we got to move on to the super chat. What people don't understand, Shad, and I know you mentioned this, one side's going to go, fuck it. It's against the side I don't like. Let it pass through. But that will be used against you almost immediately. So try to think about the future a little bit.
Yeah. And that is actually one of the end goals. I'll just end off on this, is that if the social media companies respond with, say, screw you, we're not going to pay the fines, then it'll get removed from Australia. And that's one of the end goals. Because being able to actually speak on Twitter is breaking the narrative so much in so many places. Countries want Twitter banned from their people accessing it. And the Australian government would love that, because that means they then can control the narrative a lot easier. And so if it ends up with Twitter being taken out of Australia because Elon won't play ball with them, they'll be happy with that.
Again, I don't entirely know how your political system works, but I'm guessing there's some voting, elections.
The only way is if
you get what you vote for.
If there's enough representatives in Parliament to vote against the bill, but if it gets passed, the only way to remove it is to vote out the government, and only if the people you're voting for will then promise to try and withdraw the bill when they're in power.
Yeah.
And it looks like the main opposition party is actually more on board supporting this crap. You have to go independent, like Vote One Nation in Australia.
Well, it starts out with getting rid of one app, but if you start thoroughly fucking with the internet, that's a very bad political move. That's a sure thing your ass is getting voted out of office. You start fucking with people's entire internet. Yeah, fuck no. That's not going to happen.
I wish.
Today's read, John 14:6. The emus are the way and the truth and the life. Hail FNQ, Fellowship Chat, Mods, Baby Thor, and Pizza Time Hawaiian Pizza, which is now in San Marcos, California. Go check them out. Like Melissa, we are still waiting for Gary to finish. Until next time, so long, gay boys. So long, Roland. Thank you. John Getz for 50. Due to your guys' inspiration and my love of the new Astrobot game, I decided to put together a review for it. Channel is just my name followed by gaming, so it's John Getz Gaming. Shameless plug, but even if you don't watch my glowing review, at least support an awesome game. There you go. Check it out. Big gamer. I didn't know Astrobot was out, but I don't know what it even is. I know Astro Boy. Noons has gifted 50 Nerdrotic memberships. There you go. X-Ray Girl knows. For $250. Noons. Grand Tour finale watch party for the members coming up very soon. I've already seen it, but we're going to watch it together. God dang, man. It is good. It'll get you right here. Right here. Saying goodbye to the greatest hosting trio of all time. Eric Sheedlow for 50. Hail. Son of Tardo, see Penguin. Son of Tardo, like it so far. We'll give a go. Better than Grand Elf and Agony all along. Me have question, though. Where black and white swimmy birds? Son of Tardo just asking. Hail, fellow rafts. Chat and the 199. Lock it in. Yay. Legalized Adulthood has gifted 20 Nerdrotic memberships. I almost said Nerdrotic Live. For $100, thank you. Legalized Adulthood. Appreciate you. Lance Finn, 85 for 50 euros. Says, Gary, I saw your privilege card post on X, and it is actually an inspiring reminder that anyone struggling with addiction can climb out of the abyss. Stay awesome. Cheers. Yeah, there's an internet sleuth found a picture that I posted and treated it like it's a gotcha, which was great. unfortunately, they blocked the tweet, but I'm still going to use that tweet to promote my upcoming book, which the manuscript is being turned into the editor Monday. So we're looking for it to be out by the end of the year. But yeah, somebody threw up a picture of my prison card that I took on this very desk and posted as a response to Chrissy. Chrissy said tweet some iconic picture or something, so I picked the worst picture possible and tweeted it.
Always try to destroy you through like social reputation destruction, and that can't be done when you've just told everybody. Like everybody already knows. It's like, yeah, that's whatever.
Yeah, I've been pretty open about it. And the reason for that predates YouTube, of course, was when I got out and I got off of parole, my parole officer said 2 things. Move out of California because you have 2 strikes, because your 3rd strike could mean 25 to life, and lie on every application. And I'm like, that's fucking weird. Yeah, lie about being a felon. So I did it for years, and I did it years and years, and I got fucking sick of it. So 1 application. Now I already kind of had the job, but I was like, well, let's really see. Was Tesla, and I put on Tesla the amount of my sentence, my fucking I overnoted it, and how much time I did and when it was, and they are like, great, no problem. Because yeah, if you hire, it's more closer to your prison term, especially when you're on parole. But if you hire ex-felons, you actually can get tax breaks.
You get a tax credit.
You get a tax credit?
Some places,
yeah. So, but Tesla was the one who said, we don't fucking care. So props to them.
It's also that the virtue in things is generally done in the difficult path, and it's recovering from something like that and putting your life back together is the difficult thing to do. And so people like that, yes, you did this thing, but now you've fixed your life and you've pulled everything together. And it's kind of a goal that other people that are also in that position can also aim for. So people are generally like more forgiving because of that very reason, that wouldn't have liked you if they'd met you earlier in your life when you were still doing it. But they forget all of that. And these are the same people that would gladly allow like other criminals into the, to do things and run away and make excuses for them. But the moment they find one that they don't like, that disagrees with them, suddenly everything becomes a massive problem, even when you're not like that anymore.
Yeah, I mean, I personally, like, I forgive you, Gary, for giving up and quitting alcohol. I think it's kind of a painful thing. I don't really respect it that much. I don't like quitters, but, you know, I'm still able to move past that and accept you as the person you are, flaws and all.
Thanks. You know, I'm not very good at drinking or doing drugs. It's not very good at it. I was actually very, very bad.
Practice makes perfect. That's what I always say.
I tried. I did a lot of practice and it just got worse. But yeah, like it's not anything that I'm embarrassed about at all. And I'm proud of the fact that I made it this far, and I had a lot of help. I had a lot of help through sobriety. And if it inspires one person to go to a meeting or something like that, that's fucking brilliant. That's absolutely brilliant. Because it is never too late. And I had nothing. I had no skills. I had no fucking money. My parents could barely stand me, and they let me stay there. And they're like, you can stay here for like a month till you get a job. You know, after getting out of prison, they gave me $200. I had like one pair of pants that was too big. And I had a good friend who hired me, knowing I was going to like have a hard time getting a job, hired me at the warehouse, my friend Doug Johnson. And that kind of was kind of off the races. Took a chance on me. I was fucking a hot mess when I got out of fucking prison. Cause like when you go from that environment to freedom, right? And then you still got the don't disrespect me thing. So if some guy checks your shoulder, you're like ready to throw right there. And it's like, you can't do that in the normal world, you know? So there was adjustment from that, and yeah, not sleeping well and the whole PTSD thing. Yeah, it was fucking rough, but I got through it because gratitude, because I was like, I learned how to work, but I just really appreciated being free. Like I didn't have, it was an amazing feeling when you get out. Like I didn't materially didn't want for anything, didn't want for any money. I was just happy to be on the other side of that fucking wall. My first meal was a Denny's, an omelet. And it was the greatest fucking meal to this day I've ever had. And and I could just get up and walk to the fucking beach, and Like I didn't need anything. It was a great fucking feeling. So like whatever work or stuff I got, I was just grateful to have because I didn't think I was going to have, I thought I was dead. I thought my life was over. Thought it was, so it's all gravy after that. Ryan for 100 euros. Say, by the way, thank you. Here Hollywood goes. Roland Emmerich wants to remake Lawrence of Arabia. Fuck you. Fuck you. No. Despite what Beardo says, there's 10 out of 10 movies out there. Lawrence of Arabia is most definitely a 10 out of 10 movie. One of the most beautifully shot movies ever. There's a whole video right now out there on how that film stock and how it looks so good in transfers and why it's like one of the most beautiful movies ever made. Yeah, fuck off. Roland Emmerich. Are you kidding me? No. Is he insane? Yes. They already desecrated Ben-Hur 8 years ago. I barely remember that. You can't improve on perfection. Why is Hollywood even entertaining these ridiculous ideas? Because they're run by retards. Talked about it in the stream the other day. Donald Trump in an interview many years ago said, Hollywood is a bunch of stupid rich people. Like it's filled with mostly a bunch of stupid rich people. And he's not wrong. He's not wrong. I mean, listen to him. Shadow Saiyan 737 for $49.99. Gary, tell me it isn't true that you were a felon. I had high hopes for you. And what? Next time you're going to tell me you owned a comic shop or that you had a homosexual friend named Jeremy? All those are true, unfortunately. All those are true. Ministry of Wrong Thing for $49.99. Song old as time. Woke company. People need to see themselves, in quotes. Insert characters representing 0.3% of the population. Don't like it, don't watch. Less than 0.3% of the audience shows up. Woke company. Surprised Pikachu face. Yes. It's the meme of the Charlie's Angels meme, which is that remake. It's only going to be known for that meme, which is this isn't made for you. This isn't made for white males. White males didn't show up to movie.
Yeah, why aren't white males showing up? That is all. Yeah, the hilarious.
Some random guy for $50 Australian legit over the lack of entertainment lately. You may remember me from another stream. Haha, legit nothing to say, but this is all sincere. Thanks all. Some random guy. I remember you. Neil Oakley has gifted 10 Nerdrotic memberships for 50. Thank you very much. Mark of Reality for 100. There are weirdos who have doubled down on going after you guys and many other members of the fellowship. The weirdos seem even angrier than they normally are, threatening everything from deplatforming to lawsuits. I just want y'all to know that I'm proud of you. Cheers. Let them threaten all day long.
They're angry because they've been losing some big kind of battles in the culture war. The war isn't over by a long shot, but man, the fact that Acolyte got canceled, that has hurt them so much. And
yeah,
they're pissed.
That was big.
Yeah.
I know it's been a few weeks, but I was genuinely surprised when it got canceled. I'm like, what?
Well, the thing
that
is,
quickly.
it should have never. This should have been a Kenobi situation or a fucking Make Solo 2 situation where they never actually officially announced that they're not going to make another one. They just let it hang there for forever. That's what they'd planned to do. But because I think it was Hollywood Reporter or whatever, one of their Lucasfilm guys said, yeah, it's canceled. That's why it came out this way.
Yep.
Otherwise, we would have never had this. Lucasfilm didn't make this announcement.
No.
They would have never wanted the backlash from these fucking freaks over it.
Exactly. I mean, there's been there have actually been a lot of projects that have been quietly canceled, shelved, or not renewed. And it's easier just not to say anything. Rian Johnson trilogy, Lando series, you know.
Well, the Lando series got turned into a movie, but yeah.
We'll see.
Yeah, well, like Donald Glover's still talking about it and stuff like it's happening. That we did get an official announcement from them, right?
Yeah.
That Justin Simeon or whatever the fuck his name is, he was out. That Lando and his brother are making the movie, and we'll see if it ever happens.
Ian So Forth for 50 British pounds says, We need a Batman with no inner monologue who just stares at things and weirdos and knows what windows taste like. That's pretty
the only
funny.
thing you can imagine is a bat.
Yep.
This is one thing.
Israel R for 50. This is Hail FNT. Have you guys seen the trailer for the movie Brothers with Josh Brolin and Peter Dinklage? Hate to admit that it looks funny, but I'm not sure if Dinklage is a draw after his controversial statements. Thoughts? Hail FNT and the Fellowship. I haven't seen the trailer, but I'll watch it. Dinklage, I think it'll be fine. Dinklage likes to drink. I don't know if you guys, I used to watch a lot of Game of Thrones. I used to watch a lot of the promotional stuff and the red carpet stuff, and every single red carpet he was on, he was fucking pickled. He was lit. So yeah, I think he just says stuff when he gets a little.
Well, I think that was purely self-interest. There's so few roles for that. The last thing you want is a major hit movie coming along, which gives you 7 competitors.
Yep.
And so if he can get 7 competitors out of the race,
if he can kick the ladder out behind him, that little tiny ladder.
Yeah. The joke never gets old. No matter how far
ABF Prime has gifted 50 Nerdrotic memberships of $25.
Sorry, I forgot a zero.
$250. Man, my math just broke on me. What am I going to do? Some random guy for 100 Australian dollars says, shout out to All Things Awesome, Mad Batman fan here. So I feel, yes, Lord of the Rings has basically been Star Wars'd, and it's an absolute shame. This guest is spot on for all the annoyed to say Gary is a legend. There, I'm not a legend. Just a fucking idiot. Which means anybody can make it if I can. Out of the abyss. Out of the abyss. The trial by abyss. I got spit out by a white worm. Just like Muriel. That was so fucking stupid.
She's the queen now because an animal spat her out.
Because an animal.
Well, put yourself in Elendil's position, right? He's like, well, I will only kneel to the true king or the true ruler. So if Muriel gets eaten by that monster, that will make Pharazôn the true ruler, and then he will kneel, and so he could just stop it. All he had to do is lie, go away, and do whatever he wanted. And he was like, no, I'm just going to die for it. It's like,
pretty easy to gain power in Numenor, by the way. Just have an eagle land next year or be spit out by a fucking sea worm.
Exactly.
And you're good.
That's how they determine their monarchies. Random animals do stupid things. And all right, you're the monarch. There you go. Okay.
Crimson Law for $2 says, yo, Johnny's on FNT and he will be back. He had an emergency, so I hope everything's okay. Want to say that. Hope everything's okay. Wyatt Holiday for $4.99. Gary, do you think we will ever see a release of Pandora's freezer box? Are you talking about the freezer? You couldn't beat that. Like, nobody knows about that. No. It's I think there's a trailer out there. If you're that's what you have to be talking about. So I did a movie for my video intensive class, and the whole project was you had to conceive, write, direct, edit, and have completed a short film, a short piece in 3 days. So I used a random title generator. I used a random. I used a random plot generator, and it did exist 10 years ago, where you just said, give me a couple of concepts, and I'll make them into a plot. And the concept was a freezer and Greek mythology. So I made a
I invented fridging.
So I did. I made a freezer Pandora's box. So and I made all the Greek gods like gangsters, right? And Pandora was a hooker. So and I did a short film. It's fucking terrible. It's
The box was between.
I think there's a trailer for it on Vimeo. You gotta look. But it's just fucking awful. But it got me a passing grade, so it's all good. Philip Poole, and I had some good friends, and I had a very understanding wife who let us smoke cigarettes in my in-law office in San Francisco where we shot it. and we smoked a lot of fucking cigarettes in there. It was for the movie. Philip Poole for $10. Hail FNT. Not sure anyone cares, but the new D&D 2024 Players Edition is out, and almost every single picture is DEI. There is a pic of a guy in a wheelchair holding a gun. Facts. Wheelchair?
There's two dwarven lovers, and one of them has his own beard, but he's got the beard of his lover tattooed on his arm.
I mean,
all kinds of stuff
Gary,
like that.
Wow.
Have you not seen all this stuff happening in fantasy where they want representation of disabled people in wheelchairs?
Combat wheelchairs.
It's one of the most ridiculous things ever. But
I keep trying to convince Arudai to let me do it, but he won't.
Like Wizards of the Coast. D&D
Yeah, I saw.
is
Dude,
dead.
Black Aragorn was like kind of it for me. So that's Wizards of the Coast too.
Yeah.
Sheep City and hail. Joey Bag of Donuts for $4.99. Everybody have fun tonight. Jack Crack, which week tonight? South Park, the gift that keep. No, wait, what? We get a South Park episode tonight? No. Everybody have fun tonight. Jack and Crack, which week tonight? South Park, the gift that keeps on giving. Hail FNT. I don't know if I misinterpreted that, but if we got a new South Park, that's almost too much stuff to watch over weekend. But yeah, we'll see. Ghosty for £2 British. Have another £2. Hyped Jonny is on. Hail FNT. Hail Jonny. Carlos Lima for $10. Hail to the panel. Shad, you are right. Cinderella is the best live action adaptation movie Disney's ever done. It doesn't hurt that the actress that plays her is gorgeous. Okay, I can understand that. Tracy Reeves. I don't even want to talk about it. Okay. For $25 on the Streamlabs side. TTRPG campaign plug. Gaslight Victorian Fantasy revised and expand for 5e. Imagines the Victoria world is more than what literature implied, and whose stories are first-hand accounts of bygone eras. Please check it out. URL, and it's you're gonna have to go. I can't set out the link, but or you can watch Bridgerton. That's not Victorian, but it's close enough.
Or the Doctor Who version that was basically Bridgerton.
Oh,
but somehow more gay.
Somehow they managed. Man Max 71 for $5. Agatha all along must be renamed Agatha Agony all the time. That's right. Dr. Spike $6.94 is getting 5 Nerdrotic memberships for $25. Thank you very much. Mick Hawk for $2 says Chris Gore is a.
I missed that one.
Is a knee. Happy birthday month. Yeah, we're getting close to Chris Gore's. Yes, he's a knight of knee. Happy birthday month, Frank Gore. Joseph Fabre for $15. Gary, when you are, this is why I read slowly and retarded, so I don't get caught with those things. Gary, when you ever have a chance, check out the TV series Millennium, dude, with Lance Hendricks. I'm an old guy, Joseph. I watched it when it came out. I have all 3 seasons on DVD, some of the best TV ever made. I could not agree more. Watch Millennium. It's fucking great. I wish it went longer. Yeah, I can't say this one either. Yasuke for $5. Good one, Chrissy. Craig Metello for $10. More heavy metal love. I love heavy metal. Albert Not a Retro for 2 Canadian pesos. If by gay you mean lame, then I agree. Well, that's usually what we mean. Paper Liger for $2. Video idea. Since Epic Mike has recently expanded his palette, he and X-Ray Girl should get together for a mukbang. So you can eat food. Is that right?
Yep, that's what it is.
What is he
Eat
eating?
lots of food.
Like, I don't eat a lot. A little.
She drinks a lot, but she doesn't eat a lot.
Yeah.
John Templar. Thank you for gifting 5 Nerdrotic memberships for $25. Thank you very much. UP Shoot for €5. My condolences to everyone enduring Rings of Power, well, except for Gary, of course, because he eats pineapple on his pizza. He deserves it all. Screw you. More from me. Thank you for the super chat. I'm just not eating pizza right now, but when I go back to eating pizza, I'm going to have a pineapple pizza. There you go. The Girthquake for $5. Ryan going to see I Am Racist is like Gary going to see Am I Old? Blind and bad at video games. That's true. How do I say this one?
Mesozone.
Thank you for has gifted 5 Nerdrotic memberships for $25. We appreciate it. KK for $5 says, hello there. I bet if Disney re-released Hocus Pocus in October in theaters, it would make more money than the new Agatha show does. Yes, it would. They recently did a Hocus Pocus show, right? Comics, why even bother? Coming in this late, you can bring him in.
Comics.
Oh, we can't hear you.
Yeah, muted.
It's the most interesting thing you've ever said on the show.
Yeah. he said, don't forget to buy a copy of 1984. That's what he said.
Brought to you by Be Naked.
It's brought to you by Be Naked. Wrecked Wizard for $8 Australian. 1 hour reviews of Rings of Power and now 30-minute reviews of Agony all day long. Disparu, you psychopath. Way better content than the actual show. Good day, sir. Absolutely. Could not agree more. Wyatt Holiday.
I tried to make my reviews for a lot of people like, well, I don't watch it. I watch it through you, which is why I do the more basically cover everything in it, or at least try to mention it.
Do whatever works for you. If it's working for you, that's what you do. That's your thing. All right. Don't listen to Az or anybody else. Az has a lot of fucking room to talk, by the way, and I should have brought this up. I know you're listening, motherfucker, even though you're dead. He's like, Disparu's reviews. Yes, they're inspired by Az. He goes, Disparu reviews are so long. Have you seen yours? It's not like they're 10 minutes in and out, you know?
The first content I saw of his was his Batwoman reviews, and so when I did Wheel of Time in the second episode, I'm like, well, I need some kind of format to steal, so I stole his. Yeah. I just kind of went from there.
Like 40-minute. His reviews will be as long as the episode. They'd be long as a live stream reaction, you know?
Well, sometimes the reviews are more entertaining than the show.
Yes, that's the shit I used to get when I used to only just live review shows. They're like, this live stream is lasting longer than the actual episode. I'm all, yeah, yeah, it is.
Well, it has to, because I have to talk about it,
yeah.
Which obviously will have time.
And answer people's questions. Wyatt Holiday has gifted 5 Nerdrotic memberships, $25. Thank you very much. Wooty Man for $2, or is it? Whatever.
Yeah,
how many? Sure. How many soups for an ad read? Hail FNT. Well, you spelled it soups. So I like tomato soup and chicken noodle soup. So I mean, a case of please don't no.
Loaded baked potato soup.
That's good too.
That's always good. Broccoli and cheese is good.
Broccoli and cheese soup. Clam chowder is shit. I would know. That's like drinking fucking cum and fucking and rubber bands. Like fuck that. I wouldn't even touch that shit. I've never tasted it.
That's called the prison diet.
No, like baked potato soup though. Split pea soup. All that shit with like tons of hot sauce in it. Fuck yeah. Bring it on.
Pea.
You know, it's getting we got a cold front here in Texas. It's dropped below like 100 this last couple weeks. So it's really getting cooler.
Yeah, well, these days we'll get back into the 80s.
Yeah. Hey, I can't wait for our 2 weeks of winter. That'll be like in the 20s and 30s, but then it'll be over. Wrecked Wizard for $5 Australian. Shad, please tell the fellowship that all of Australia is sorry for the upcoming The Office series. Oh, yeah, we didn't even go over that.
Oh,
it shouldn't make it past one season, we promise. That trailer is fucking abysmal. Like, holy shit. Where's Shad going?
It's hard for me to judge that shit sometimes because, like, the UK Office is not nearly as well received here as it was in the fucking UK because it's
the
like
UK Office season 1
compatible, right?
Is fucking genius, by the way. Absolute genius.
Very different senses of humor between here and America.
Yeah.
And that's why the first season, and that's why the first season of The Office, it feels weird because they were trying to copy the UK one. The first season, the first 6 episodes, small first season of the American Office, very much was trying to like direct shot for shot remake some of the stuff from the UK one. It just didn't work. They had to find their own stride and find their own humor. So yeah, I'm not fucking interested in that Australia one, but I don't know if maybe people in Australia are like, oh, this looks hilarious, mate. Like, I don't.
Oh, are you talking about the Australian Office?
Yeah,
trailer?
apparently they swapped Dwight, which is like such a bad idea. That doesn't work.
Like, there is so much to be embarrassed about being an Australian these days. We don't need friggin' more. And then that thing comes along. I'm just like, what's happening? Why?
There has been so many shot-for-shot remakes of British comedies that just die
know what's
immediately
sad?
in America. Red Dwarf didn't even get shown in between his coupling.
Coupling was good. Like we had to either get bootlegs or like I worked in a video store, so I was.
But it was the American copies that like nobody likes them. The original series really well received over here, but like Red Dwarf literally never got shown. It just got hidden away.
Yeah.
It's probably for the best, honestly.
Probably for the best. You know what sucks for Australia is back in the 80s, Australia was considered so fucking cool over here. Like everybody was like, that looks like the coolest fucking country.
And we were considered like a hard,
Crocodile Dundee, Mad Max, fucking AC/DC, like shit. What happened? Men with Men at Work. We still love Men at Work. That's a good band.
Oh yeah.
Okay. I'm come from a land down under where we lock everybody up in COVID concentration camps now. They got to rewrite the song. Okay. Feed them Vegemite sandwiches.
There's just a little funny story about Australia's reputation of being like tough guys. You know the one James Bond that was an Aussie that on Her Majesty's Secret Service, that one. So when he was being cast, they wanted to make sure if he could actually play the role right, and so they did some.
Why am I blanking
things,
on his
actually.
name?
I forget his name as well.
George Lazenby.
Yeah. So they did weird stuff to make sure he wasn't gay. They sent a hooker into his hotel, and they had him screw her, and they had one of the representatives from the studio sit there and watch, right, just to make sure he wasn't gay. But then they wanted to make sure he could fight.
Sure,
but they didn't.
I want to watch this guy have a sex with a woman. I'm gonna make sure he's not gay. Okay, sounds like Destiny.
Right. But they didn't. They decided they didn't need a test if he could fight or not on the grounds that he was an Australian, and their response was, "He's Australian. Of course, he knows how to fight." But now that reputation is just.
By the way, damn good Bond film. Came out the year I was born. Mouse World 666 is gifted 5 Nerdrotic memberships for $25. Thank you very much. War Van Eagle TV for $4.99. Agatha's been on far too long. That's good. I'm gonna give that. That's a double right there.
Only 2 episodes. Yeah, I agree.
Superfly 1 2 3 4 for $5. Can Shad read this? Can he see it?
It's in the private chat.
There you go.
I can't even see it.
Oh, it's in the private chat.
Get it. All right. Ready? I'll do the. G'day, mate. Throw another shrimp on the barbie.
Right? It's a Crocodile fucking Dundee. God, that movie's so good. The first one, so good.
Oh yeah.
That's not a knife.
That's a knife.
Not a knife.
That's not a knife. That's
Nicholas Barton for 10 British pounds. I turn 55 tomorrow. What's up, youngster? And I just wanted to celebrate with my fellow OAP Gary. Hail the fellowship. Happy birthday, brother.
What's
singing.
OAP mean?
I don't know.
Old ass pussy? What does that mean?
Old ass person?
Old ass person.
That makes more sense.
Old ass person.
Old ass pussy.
Old ass pussy. That's funny.
The singing Tigs for $5. At 3:07 airtime, really, which one of you lame gays came up with the brilliant idea? Not 3:05 or 3 or 3:10, but 3:07. Okay, Ryan, rant over. Hail FNT. We don't actually plan it for 3:07. Actually, that's pretty early for us. What happens is we get together, we have to set up the stream, we start chit-chatting, getting to know you. We haven't, some of us haven't talked all week. Some of us, it's been a couple of hours. And
a lot of time. I care a lot about the personal lives of everyone involved. I spend time asking, "Hey, are you doing okay mentally, buddy? Just let me know. How was church?"
Yeah, we all checked on Dan Bask.
Yeah, like that. It's usually me. I'm why we run late because I'm checking in on everybody.
Yep, he cares so much. Script for $20. I just reserved tickets to go see you in San Antonio, Gary. Hail, right on. By the way, yeah,
awesome.
We'll bring that up in a second. Can't wait to see you in person at Ricky Bobby's. Hail, chat, and FNT. Mouse World 666. FNT for $10. I like that. FNT. Here's a $5, Gary, for taking one for the team. I took a couple this week. All of us did. All of them did. Who didn't watch? You all watched Rings of Power. So
I watched everything.
And you watched Agatha all along. So props to you. I mean, far be it for me to give some unsolicited creator advice. But if you're going to talk about a show in particular, just to pick one out, a show like Penguin or Agatha All Along, it's good that some of us actually watch it so we can talk about it with an informed opinion. Just a thing. If you're going to cover pop culture, you got to watch a lot of stuff, and a lot of it's going to be stuff you don't like. The way I mix it in is every time I watch something I don't like, I go to a thing I love. X-Files or something. I go to a thing I love as a palate cleanser.
I just double down and watch something else I don't like.
There you go. Watching the Tripe Rings of Power. I saw your pain on the stream. I was having a rough time on the watch party of the last one. I was fishing. I've given up on the show. Yeah, most people have. That's the thing is I'm sticking with it, but algorithmically, it's fucking dead. It's just a dead show. It's lost 60% of its audience, and this season was all directed by women. So I have to agree with Elle. Women are taking charge this season. They absolutely are.
It's pretty apparent.
Yep. Sith Cake for $10. Gary, you liar. Today I found out that you went to prison. What's next? You own a comic book store and work for Elon? For shame. Should check out the franchise, a HBO show about the Marvel products. Yes. So I wanted to bring that up real quick. A trailer came out called The Franchise. It is from Sam Mendes, produced by Sam Mendes, who directed James Bond films, American Beauty. And it looks like, I repeat, it looks like it's ribbing Marvel and in a way DC. It's going to be an HBO show. And the premise is they're filming a superhero movie that they're not going to release, and they're just going through the motions, and the crew figure it out or something like that. But there is a point in one episode that's brought up in an article that they bring in an overpowered female character, and the toxic fans get pissed. So they could go either. If they play both sides on this, I'm fine with that. If they fucking roast YouTubers, I don't even know if they'll go there, but if they do, I'm fine with it, as long as they aren't like the boys and take a water pistol to one side and nuke the other side. Like if you're even about your satire, I'm down completely. So yeah, I'm going to check it out. And I think we should too. And it comes out in a week and a half, October 6th, called The Franchise on Max. Mark Klein for $20. The best thing in life is going to a Padres game with my 18-year-old son. Yes, that is. Yes, that is. That's some of the best times I had with my dad was going to Padre and Charger games. Fuck Dean Spanos. Who likes hanging out with his old man. Getting ready to go watch our last game in person. Hope you all have a great weekend. Let's go Padres. Fuck yeah. Going to the playoffs. Going to spank the Dodgers again in their $1.5 billion payroll.
Wait, you guys haven't clinched yet, though.
We're going to fucking clinch, baby. You see how fucking hot we are right now? Royal we. Like I'm going
just
out
saying,
there.
if I was a San Diego sports fan, I would not utter that until.
Dude, I am so used to losing and eating crow. I don't even care at this point. We're rolling right now. I'm just going to enjoy it. Fucking back-to-back home runs. Last game is fucking rad. Yeah. Manny Machado. Rook Creations for $5. First ep of Penguin was great. I hope you all check it out. IGN released a head-scratching 5 out of 10, amended their baffling review to an 8. Oh, they did? They did not, because I know they originally said it was some article that Tom was retweeting said it's a Trump allegory, and maybe it descends into that, but there is not a single sniff of that, unless you're talking about somebody coming and taking over a city ruined by Democrats. And I mean, because that's what it is. Gotham is a city fucking overrun. It's a Democratic city. It's a Democratic run city. But I don't know where the fuck you get Trump allegory from it. Like, I just watched the first episode. What it is, it's a mafia crime story. And it's about a mobster in a power vacuum. That's it. And Colin Farrell is, like, the Penguin's a villain, but he makes him a likable, relatable villain. So you end up liking the character quite a bit. Does some brutal shit. A little, Good opening scene. Good fucking opening scene. Really fucking good. So, yeah, check it out. I'm going to watch it again. Wonko the Sane for $19.99. The Rings of the Acolyte all along. Yes. Connor Dorian for $5. Has anyone watched the first episode of The Penguin that premiered on HBO yesterday yet? Yes, I did, and I gave it a very positive review. I give it first episode, I give it an 8 out of 10. I think that's fair.
It's a really weird decision. You've got like Rings of Power, Agatha, and that all releasing on the same day. Like with streaming, you could literally do it on any day.
I know. And there must be some analytics that state that Thursday's a good day to release stuff. I think Sunday. I think Sunday night is probably still a better night to even during NFL season. I think it's still a better night to release stuff. Sunday, Monday, Thursday was always good for broadcast. Those were always the biggest days. So,
well, are they releasing it on Thursday now? Because I know that the first 2 episodes of Agatha dropped on Wednesday.
I was talking about the
Thursday
Penguin.
for me.
I was talking about the Penguin. So, yeah, it's Thursday for them. It's going to be Wednesday at 6 p.m. Pacific for Agatha. Thursday for Penguin. It's Thursday at midnight. So whatever for the Rings of Power. Yeah, it's fucking stupid, but whatever. I don't think HBO feels very threatened by the Rings of Power. That's what it says. Matthew Dadino for $10 said, don't know if you missed it, but Elendil, when armor stripped and giving up his knife, the knife actually bends when he puts it. Oh, I didn't see that. $1 billion show. God, where's my water?
Well, as was mentioned, they zoomed in on handcuffs that literally had no locking mechanisms. Yeah. If it was at least it was in the background, fair enough. But when you do a close-up shot that lasts for ages.
$1 billion show, can't afford real knives, only rubber. Senior Don Justicia. Don Justicia for $4.99. Middle Earth politics might be weird, but it works. On the same topic, the siege of Region has been fiery, but mostly peaceful. You just stole my fucking meme that I'm going to put at the end of the video. I'm
done it yet.
I'm straight up putting this. I'm putting the CNN guy, but it's going to be Don Lemonless, and it's going to say a fiery, mostly peaceful. That's where it's going to end.
Funny.
Get to work on it, Garrett. I know you're listening to it. Garrett, it's going to be the best video, Garrett. The best episode 6 review. It's all for the supercut at this point. Angela Lopez for 20. Hey guys, it's just hilarious that the far lefty is getting a slap of reality. I'm gay. Even I'm not watching Agatha. There's a lot of LGBTQ individuals that want high quality storytelling and representation too. Their show is just shit. Exactly. Well, they always portray you guys as caricatures too, which is insulting as fuck. But yeah, my wife is a fucking hairdresser and she doesn't want to watch Agatha. Okay.
But that's why I think it's essentially people who can't put themselves in other people's perspectives. So they can only think in categories and they assume everyone else is just like them. So if I'm gay and I like this stuff, then all gays must like this stuff. That's literally all they can think.
Yep.
Maximus. Or like, yeah, you're not gay if you don't watch this.
Because you must be lying about the category. This is why people used to be good because of their deeds. Now you're good because of your category that you are.
Maximus Renitus for $4.99. Oh, how I would like to be the sausage in the middle of that Han Plaza sandwich. Yummy. Well, I mean, like if that was the show, I would be far more interested, to be honest with you.
Maybe Aubrey Plaza and someone else. But...
Aubrey Plaza's hot.
Yeah, she is.
Aubrey Plaza's hot. She's a likable character. If you want to see her in a good Marvel show, watch the first 2 seasons of Legion. Just skip season 3. Carlos Lima.
If you just want to watch her play herself, watch Parks and Rec.
Parks and Rec.
Yeah.
I mean, she essentially plays herself in everything. Okay. But, oh, no, she's in a great movie that's called Safety Not Guaranteed. About a guy who wants to build a time machine and he puts an ad in the paper and she's in it. It's a fucking great movie. Watch it. Carlos Lima for $10. I saw my wife slightly drunk yelling at the TV, "Don't go in there. Don't go in the church, you moron." Turns out she was watching our wedding video again. Good one. Horn E Undernet for $4.99. I send this naughty curse for the Deathbore clips and etc. This will make you play the free 2 games game as I shout the game out. Action Tamin
Timonin.
Timonin. Now play it. I can't play stuff I can't say. Okay. Ghosty for £5 British. Thank you very much for the donation. Cup of Joe for $13.99. Agatha, Aubrey Plaza, and a U-Haul. Still better love story than Twilight. I agree. Neil Oakley for 10 British pounds. Not sure what Catherine Hahn is eating more, the lesbian witches or the scenery. Sig Tread for $1.99. Thank you for the super sticker. Retro Meister for $20. It's ironic that we're all obsessed with Lara Croft's sexuality in the 90s, but now with the Netflix's Tomb Raider, it's all about the sexuality instead of focusing on what makes Lara rebellious and adventurous, aka a Tomb Raider. Well, she's not a Tomb Raider anymore. She's a tomb reappropriator.
Mm-hmm.
KK for
belongs
$5.
in a museum.
Yep. Wait, is this show? Well, now it belongs to its indigenous country. Wait, is the show just Sabrina, the midlife crisis witch? Maybe.
Bring Melissa Joan Hart back. I'll watch that.
Haley Atwell's talents are wasted with this project. Animation looks like between ARK and Korra, which is not appealing to the eyes. Minus will be called Legend of Laura. Need I say more? Hail to the Fellowship 199. Are you talking about? Well, what are you talking about? What
I'm guessing that's the animated series for Tomb Raider.
Yeah, there's a Netflix.
Oh,
Tomb
okay.
Raider.
Oh, so that was a follow-up. Okay, so there's an. Yeah. I ain't gonna watch it.
Yeah,
I tried
There's
watching
a live action and an animated version that's supposed to be coming out.
Yeah, no. I
The
tried.
animated one is Netflix, and Prime has that supposed live action series with Phoebe
From,
Waller-Bridge show running.
which is questionable. Horny Undernet for $4.99, especially next beginning month is the anniversary, and goods can be found and pretty clean. One sanity back with hot girls. It's on Steam and iOS. So you're talking about the game there. There you go. Hey, what didn't somebody just send me that Red Dead Redemption is on Steam now? Like the first one, the remastered version?
Has it not been or something?
I don't know. Somebody sent it to me. Who was it?
They just put it up.
Well, it might be the remastered. I don't know.
Maybe it's on a sale or something. I don't know.
Yeah, maybe it's on sale. But I'll play the first one. I like the first one. I'm better at the first one than the second one. I'm not very good. Well, I'm not very good at the first one either, but I'm worse at the second one. So
both of them are awesome. Second one's really fucking awesome though.
Attack Rings of Power with all your strength. We will. Senor Don Justicia. Retro Meister for $10 for the online shills simping for the retcon trash. Spoiler alert, Laura gets her dueling pistols at the end of the season 1, setting up for season 2. Sorry to burst your member berry bubbles, LOL.
Damn, you just spoiled it for me.
Yeah.
Fuck.
Albert, not a retro for 10 Canadian pesos. Predictions on Stark as Dr. Doom. One, Dr. Doom is not really Tony Stark, but actually William Riva, who will be the using Maestro tech, and he downloaded at the end of Spider-Man Far From Home. I actually know that it's Tony. He's Victor Von Doom. He is Victor Von Doom. But is he a Tony Stark variant in another universe as Victor Von Doom? That's the question.
I think that's what they'll do.
Oh yeah, real quick. Wiccan and his brother are imaginary magic children from Wanda that are brought into reality when they are ejected from Westview at the end of WandaVision, and they go into two bodies of dying boys. So that's what ages them up. So their spirits take over the bodies of boys that were going to die for sure. So their souls have moved on, and they end up reanimating these bodies and using them.
The weird thing about
if the choice
is
if the choice between dying or being gay, just fucking kill me.
the weird thing about that plot line is that he can't say his name to Agatha,
right?
Which implies that the Scarlet Witch cast the protection spell on him deliberately. So why doesn't she know he exists?
Well, I think he's playing Agatha. I think he's just playing her.
Oh, you think so?
Yeah.
I thought it was part of the protection. Like, he's saying things, she just can't hear
yeah.
it.
Mm-hmm. He also can't explain where he grew up or anything about his background.
Well, he can. She can't hear it, but she doesn't bring it up to him going like, you're trying to describe things to me and I can't hear you right now. Like,
well, that's because she doesn't want to let on that she can't hear that.
Yeah,
like, she's trying to figure out why.
Yeah.
I would be surprised, I guess, if he was in on that, but it might be a gay explosion, so who knows?
Maybe. I don't know. I mean, that would be the smart move to have him playing her, because he's trying to find power because he says in the first episode, I'm looking for power to find out what I'm missing, essentially. And he's missing his mom, obviously.
It's because otherwise
and his dad.
Scarlet Witch would have had to have cast a protection spell on somebody that she doesn't know exists, which would be weird.
What I figure is, what my guess is, they'll go through this entire thing and they'll like have this bond, and then it's going to be revealed that he's like the son of Wanda.
Yes.
And that's going to cause the conflict between
and
them
the other
at the
son
end.
is going to be in the other show. That's a follow-up to WandaVision.
You know, and then
Vision.
Yeah, Vision.
he's gonna get
Vision.
he's gonna get the magic, and then that's how Wanda is gonna be brought back to life. He's gonna go and need his mum and use the magic to resurrect her or something.
But with all that interesting shit said, I gotta bounce, guys. So good stream. Sorry we had to watch so much shitty stuff this week.
Go watch
we'll
the Penguin,
again
dude.
Next week. I'm gonna watch Penguin tonight or tomorrow. We'll figure it out.
Yeah, I could do the same.
All right, guys. I'll talk to you later.
See you.
Bye.
Gotcha, you, man.
Bye, Ryan.
All right, we're gonna get through these. Just stay tuned. Vision is the Vision series. They're gonna try some very bold things. They're gonna try to bring
make
back
it good.
Yes, they're gonna try to bring back. I don't know if they're gonna pull it off, but they're gonna bring back some stuff, some familiar stuff from the good old days of Marvel. So we'll see. Nandy O for $1.99. Better than Echo. She-Hulk worse than all others. Is Agatha better than Echo? I'd say they're right the same. I can say one's better or worse. They're not as bad as She-Hulk.
More than 2 episodes.
Yeah, I need more episodes, but like Echo and Agatha all along are bad, but they're not as bad as She-Hulk. But She-Hulk is pretty fucking bad. So
Oh, come on. She-Hulk was a masterpiece of
Normal
garbage.
Man for 2 Canadian pesos. Achiro Oda, One Piece guy, is greater than George. I can't finish the book because of my fascism. Martin, who turns 76 today.
Wow.
Happy birthday, George. Finish the fucking book. Simon Ho for 2 Canadian pesos. Gayest Marvel show should be called... As Term Hagness. As Term Hagness. Okay. Josh Kelsey for $19.99. Thanks for dropping that and walking away. That's what you do. Jason Yankovic for $5. Waiting for the new Capcom fighting game, Agatha versus Acolyte Lesbian Witch Battles. IGN 8 out of 10. Gayest fighting game ever. Grim Jim for $19.99 says, how to fix the MCU. Do a few shows, focus on Daredevil, Blade, Punisher, and Ghost Rider, and have it only refer to things that happen within those projects till shit improves. Have them ignore MCU till it gets better. Yeah, do a MonsterVerse. Do a Marvel Knights. Do a Marvel Knights, Midnight Suns. You could throw Punisher and Daredevil in there, but definitely Ghost Rider, Blade. God, I wish I could get Morbius in there. Man-Thing, Brother Voodoo. You could bring in Doctor Strange once in a while. And just do supernatural horror stuff. That would be fucking awesome. Werewolf by Night, Dracula, do it all. I would just do, a Marvel horror universe on D+. Ignore all that shit. It'd be fun. In another timeline. Maybe if they switch CERN on and off again. I heard they were going to do that soon. Be ready. Ooh. Be ready for your reality to change or be sucked through a micro black hole. Udit? One for $5. Haven't seen the Batman. Is it required viewing for Penguin? A friend wants to check it out later. The flood thing was spoiled for me long ago. Not really. They tell you the end of Batman at the beginning of the series, so it sets everything up. I mean, the only thing you would have missed is the Penguin scenes in the Batman where he's at the club. Rakeas for $20. Don't waste your time on Marvel crap. Watch Transformer 1. It's awesome. Chris Gore said it's really fucking good. He said it's really fucking good. So I'm probably going to take the time to see it next week. I want to see the substance first. Like everybody's raving about the substance. So I want to check that out.
When is Transformers 1 out?
This weekend?
Yeah, it's already out.
It's already out.
Yeah.
Oh,
That first trailer looked awful, but the one I saw in the theater actually made it look really fucking good.
Yeah, like people are saying it's really good. Watching this, and which is great because I love the Transformers. Watching this episode was like having sexy time with my ex. Slow, painful, and completely unnecessary. Says Lulu.
Wow.
TJ Jordan for $5. Even if Marvel is serious about changing course, the fact that they're still owned by Disney makes it hard for me to believe they can do it 180. Yeah, I would definitely words are wind. You know, I'd wait and see. And I think it's they're trapped by their own reality right now. They can't change course and keep the stuff around, and they can't cancel it because their own employees and Disney really does care. Believe me, they don't like the crap they're getting for the Acolyte being canceled, which tells you how bad things must have been for the Acolyte. American 300 for $10. Hail FNT. Have you watched the last episode of the Grand Tour? I have. Have been watching the trio for over 10 years, and now all gearheads in the world have been left orphaned. Yep. It's very sad. They're going to continue it, but it's that show was the hosts, period. But you do have Clarkson's Farm, which is a fantastic show. War Van Eagle.
A couple of them have their own YouTube channels as well.
Yeah, there's Drive Tribe and
the other guy, I can't remember
James
his name. Yeah, he has his like a gin YouTube channel. Recently did a review of the Tesla truck.
Yeah, and he does a traveling show on Amazon Prime called Our Man in like India or whatever country he's going to. War Van Eagle TV for $19.99. Rings of Power episode 6 won me over by making Frosty the Snowman, Adar as the magician, Galadriel as the kidnapped Sally, with Adar keeping Morgoth's magical hat away from Halbrand so he won't come back to life by putting on his head. Good point. Green Blossom for £2 Orc child transitioning matters. Exactly. DJ Jordan for $5. Instead of watching Agatha, I began watching 24, finished season 1 into season 2, and loving it. But should I watch all the way through or stop at a certain point? Watch it all the way through. 24 is great. Even the lower tier stuff is still great. Albert Not a Retro for 10 Canadian pesos. Predictions on Stark as Doctor Doom 2. This Tony Stark from the alternate Earth that has destroyed during catastrophic events have decided becoming a dictator in the best way to avoid it on Earth. Jackson Cagle for $2. Woo! I'm schmoozing. There you go. Griff Nizzle for $10. I got out of comics decades ago, but the last thing I was into was Image Comics Wetworks. Very good. Very good.
Good. Very good.
Good comic. Death Blow, My Namesake, Team 7, and Early Spawn. Early Spawn was fun.
Mm-hmm.
When he had the countdown clock and everything.
Yes.
Whatever happened to those properties? What happened to them is here's the good side and the bad side of creator owned. Seeing a lot of this in the independent market. Out of all of them, Todd McFarlane was the best businessman by far because he branched out into toys and to sports and created an empire, overpaid for some stuff, did some stupid stuff, but Todd McFarlane, savvy motherfucker, man. Smart dude, guy I have a lot of respect for. And I have a respect for the guys who started Image, but the thing was they had too much power. They weren't the best businessman, and it was a reaction to the overreach of Marvel and everything. But once they got on their own, right, they didn't have editors coming down on them, and it took longer and longer for the books to come out. Spawn books came out of order. Like, remember, we got 20 before 18 and 19 of Spawn back in the day. And like, it wasn't bad, but it got bad. And then those creators left. Image had to kind of reinvent. And in the mid 2000s, the 2010s and stuff, they successfully did with creator-owned projects and started bringing in independent projects. And all of a sudden Image became bestsellers again and started actually competing with stuff like Saga, whether you like Saga or not. The shit fucking sold like crazy. Right. And, Walking Dead came through and we had an independent surge, right? And that stuff was selling. Problem is, like, consistency. It's always consistency, and it's tough. It's tough. It's hard to shit out creation, and we understand that. You can't shit it out. But what got lost was like that old school lunch pail mentality of the early comic book days. And I think what else? I'll end it with this because I could go on forever, and I apologize. they got away from cartooning and comic art, and they got into really detailed, awesome looking art that you just can't make fast enough. You know, and when you look at, you know, like Darwin Cook could do it. I don't know. He wasn't that fast either. But like, if you look back at the Steve Ditko days, Jack Kirby, Sal Buscema, John Buscema, all those guys, they were cartoonists. They were comic artists, and they were able to punch. Fucking Jack Kirby was able to like 20,000 pages in his lifetime. That's fucking insane.
Yeah,
it's absolutely insane. Neil Oakley for 10 British pounds. Gil Galad is waiting for his XP spreadsheet to tell him whether to fight or inventory that printer ink consignment for Narvi. It's a tough decision. It is. Albert Not a Retro for 5 Canadian pesos. You all become Betty White in Lake Placid. I'm cheering for the alligator. Negative has gifted 5 Nerdrotic memberships. Darth Jager has gifted 5 Nerdrotic memberships, both for $25 each. TJ Jordan for $5. I want to say thank you to everyone for inspiring me to take a shot at being creative. Good. It's good for the soul. I just started writing my book, Hail the Fellowship. Well done. Robert Wolf for $4.99. Can we bring back James Earl Jones in exchange for George Takei?
Yes.
Corn Pop has gifted 1 Nerdrotic membership. He's a bad dude. Jesus Davila, CG87343. Is that supposed to spell something? I don't know. Thanks for chiming in there, X-Ray Girl. And Haywood Jablomi has gifted 1 Nerdrotic membership, and Rusty English has gifted 1 Nerdrotic membership, and that is it for YouTube. We're gonna head on over the Rumble. Thanks,
there's
everyone.
one more gifted membership. Sorry,
Okay,
Stoic Daydreamer 108. Thank you for gifted memberships. So
thank you. Meetup.
Yes. So the link is in the description for the San Antonio meetup. But here is the actual RSVP page. It's Wednesday, October 23rd in San Antonio, 7 to 10 at the Ricky Bobby Sports Bar. This is a 21 and up event. So sorry to you underage kidlets, you won't be able to go in. And if you bring in any of these items, like mac and cheese, cans, food, you can get them or drop them off, and you can get drink tickets as well. Now, another important thing is to make sure you give your legal name, and that's for the venue to check your RSVP to let you in. So very important, no aliases here. And the event is free, okay? So as a thank you for being here, and Garrett's calling me. I don't know what to do.
Mute and answer the phone.
Yeah. So, yeah, we got to wait to I can probably end this here because I can do this, Garrett. Tell me if I'm doing anything wrong. Just call me, okay? Call me if I do anything wrong.
Oh dear.
Okay,
That's
so
true.
we're gonna
goes down.
We're gonna put on the outro. We're gonna and then we mute ourselves, but we'll still be live on Rumble. So watch the gamer words, watch the as well-known British phrases words. Okay, so
cigarette.
Yeah, I think we could do this.
Okay, Garrett's not able to get in the call.
No,
That's why.
I got it.
You got
I
it?
got
Perfect.
So join us over on Rumble, everyone, and thank you to the Modrotics, to everyone who left a super chat donation, to all the lurkers out there, to all the nice things people said on Twitter. And that's not sarcastic, by the way. That's a lot of people said some nice things, and I appreciate it. See you next time. Bye.
Bye.
See you.
Yeah.
Do not come. Do not come.
I'm gonna come.